Rallycross isn't just a sport, it's part of our DNA. Welcome to the FIA World Rallycross Championship presented by Monster Energy. We're at the classic Lydden Hill circuit in the UK, and this is hallowed Rallycross soil. 50 years ago, TV producer Robert Reid made his vision of mixed surface racing become a reality. On February the 4th, 1967, Vic Elford powered his Porsche 911 to victory here at Lydden and started half a century of the most scintillating, dramatic and above all accessible racing on the planet. Roll on 50 years and the World RX cars and drivers truly blow you away with a combination of breathtaking car performance harnessed by superb driving skill. And what's most remarkable is that the sport and the people in it have the same pure racing soul as they did in 1967. Lydden is the 5th round this season and situated in the southeast of Great Britain. Expect no sentiment on track. This will be the one everybody wants to win in 2017. So as the current crop of Rallycross teams and drivers get ready for the challenge this weekend, let's take a look back at the highly emotive round 4. Almost the entire field were on a mission to stop Matthias Ekstrom making it 4 in 4 in Belgium last round. Come the end of a dramatic qualifying, which saw Kevin Hansen walk away from this role, Ekstrom was sat in 8th, while his championship rivals and VW teammates Petter Solberg and Johan Kristoffersson were on pole in each of the semis. Semi 1, and it was Sebastian Loeb's turn to feel the wrath of Belgium's infamous first corner. Brother Kevin and teammate Loeb were out, but the Peugeots were looking quick, and Timmy Hansen promptly booked his place on the front row for the final. Semi 2, and a great start from Ken Block from row 2 saw him punch himself past Solberg and up into 2nd place. Big move, but sadly big damage, as the American eventually retired. Solberg in trouble jokered early to find some clear air and set some blistering lap times. Baccarat out front left his joker until the last lap, but his compatriot and rival had done enough to slide past the young contender on the last corner and take the top spot. Solberg getting one over Baccarat. On to the final, and it was that last corner that provided the headlines again. Solberg leading left the smallest of gaps, and Hansen in 2nd made the most of the chance. The pair swapped paint down the straight, but Hansen held the position. Solberg coming off worst ended up buried in the tyre barriers and collected, you guessed it, Baccarat on his way out. Race over for Baccarat, but this particular fight will go on and on. Hansen was leading when last lap disaster struck. A front puncture meant he now had to get in and out of the joker lap before Johan Kristoffersson and Solberg could undercut him. Everybody held their breath in Belgium as it went down to the final corner. Hansen pushed the struggling Peugeot hard through the joker, but Kristoffersson slotted past to take his team's maiden victory. Hansen holding on to 2nd by just a few thousandths.
Yeah, that was fantastic. I mean, to come back to the tent and see all the mechanics, there was just stars in the eyes of them. That was really nice. They've been working very hard in a very short time to get this victory. And of course, everyone wants to win. And I'm always trying to say that, yeah, but we want to win, but we want to win after the 12 races, not only the small trophies. So it feels like we are a little bit starting back on scratch again from zero. So, but it's good for us. We have to be consistent all the time.
So how does that first victory of the year for Kristoffersson affect the championship standings? Matthias Ekstrom still leads, but by a slender 3 points over Kristoffersson. Solberg sits 3rd, and Timmy Hansen 4th will be counting the points lost after that puncture. PSRX Volkswagen Sweden are building a good lead in the team's championship, but there are still 8 rounds to go, and that lead could evaporate very quickly indeed. As Rallycross celebrates its 50th year here at Lydden, it's the perfect time for the current drivers to reflect on the heritage of this amazing sport.
I mean, I grew up in a rallycross paddock with my father, so I've seen the sport evolving over the years. And for me, I would say the sport which I saw as a kid, at the time, I thought it was funny to watch, but I had no intention to become a rallycross driver. So once the World Championship came along and, you know, it became more professional, I thought it was fantastic.
I grew up in the paddock. I grew up watching Martin Chunky Patterson, Will Gollop, Rob Gibson, all the names.
My father, Andreas Eriksson, was racing a lot, and he started to do the European Championship. That's when I met Kevin Hansen. Like Kenneth, his father was racing, and him and my father, they were, you know, fighting each other, and so we were growing up and in the paddock back in the day. So it's a lot of fun.
Today, to be racing Rallycross against some of the world's best drivers from other disciplines is huge. Me and my brother, Kevin, Johan, we're all the new generation trying to make a career here. But having Sebastian Loeb and Matthias Ekström, Peter Solberg here makes this a sport on such a high level.
It's a critical point in the championship season. If you combine that with the centenary celebrations, it's no wonder that a victory here would mean so much.
Rallycross is basically born here. Of course, Lydden Hill is special for me because my son was born when I raced here 2015 on the Sunday. So it's always a special memory for me. It would be nice to put a special result in here as well.
I won my first World Rallycross Championship race here, and this is my 10th race on this track. It's a special track for me and a special track in Rallycross history, and I'm here to win.
To win this race, that's for sure, would be fantastic. I know I'm very fast there. I have a very good statistic over the years, so I will do everything I can, definitely.
As the teams make final preparations, let's take a look at the track. Lydden Hill in the UK, the birthplace of Rallycross, 1,170 metres long, 60% asphalt and 40% dirt. So with the hot weather expected here this weekend, that dirt may clean up very quickly indeed. We ride on board with Kevin Eriksson as he crosses over the curbs at the start-finish line, down into Chesson's Drift, looking for that strip of tarmac on the inside. He's then pulling gears and heading back down onto the tarmac section before a very, very big braking zone into Devil's Elbow, the left-hander. Critical to get the car right to the apex here, and then on the gas again up a steep hill. This hill affecting you even with 600 horsepower. Late on the brakes again, but assisted by gravity this time, again to the apex. Back on the gas and hammering down the hill towards one of the most committed corners in Rallycross, Paddock Bend. Fourth gear right-hander, look how close the wall is on the right-hand side. Light the throttle up again, pull another gear over the finish line, and that's a flying lap of Lydden. Coming up, we've got highlights of the action from qualifying 1 and 2, the best of the action from qualifying 3. It's crunch time in Q4, only the top 12 qualify. The top 3 go through in live World RX semi-finals. Then it's time for the second RX2 final of the year. Then it's the biggest race of the weekend, the World RX final, live. Q1 at Lydden Hill 2017, and on the inside it was Matthias Ekström, of course the world champion and the winner here last year, who got the whole shot into turn 1 to get proceedings underway. But this one was all about the incident with Niklas Gronholm. You can see there clipping the bank on the inside and rolling the Fiesta several times. Back onto the wheels, he was okay, but would go no further while Ekström took the win. The 2 VW Polo GTI supercars were formation flying at Lydden Hill. They'd been quick in practice, and that translated into P1 and P2 for them. Rainis Nitish out front in his race with Andrew Jordan fluffing the start. Nitish, though, with a far worse mistake. He forgot to joker. So a 30-second penalty after taking the checkered flag. This was Toppy Haken backing it in up at the top hairpin in the S1. Once the joker laps have played out, he managed to get out in front of Kevin Eriksson, with Baumanis just edging Wilkes on the gravelly merge. Sebastian Loeb and Kevin Hansen taking the front of the field in their race. Loeb in the Peugeot pushing hard, but unable to match the pace of the VWs. Gronholm out of the car and okay. Here's another look at the incident in the background. Just clips the bank on the inside, and over it goes.
Yeah, I saw Block get away a bit, and tried to keep up with him and clip the barrier in the first corner. There's a small piece coming out. It looks like you can go really tight, but then it comes out a bit, and I hit that one with my right front wheel, and yeah, that sent me rolling a couple of times. Some damage on the car, but not anything crucial. The roll cage and the engine was okay, so it was, you know, you could say minor injuries on the car.
On to Q2, and desperately needing a good result after missing the joker in Q1 was Reini Snittish, but it was not to be. Contact with Niklas Gronholm off the start sent him over the grass, and something broken on the front of the Audi meant that he would go no further. Kevin Eriksson and Andrew Jordan went into the joker lap together, teammates at MJP Racing Team Austria, but Kevin Eriksson overcooked it, allowing Heikkinen to get away and Jordan to sneak through. Out front, Sebastian Loeb was defending hard from Ken Block, whose fantastic form continues. On to the next race, and the VWs again were flying out front into the joker lap. Hansen was outdone by Ekstrom, but look at these two and their racing style. Super smooth, super small inputs, finding the traction and blasting the cars back onto the gravel. Still, though, they could do nothing about the performance of the VWs. They were in front. Backward had followed them. When he came out of the joker merge, had to slot in between Ekstrom and Hansen. Another win for Solberg. It's a clean sweep on day one.
Today it's been very good. You know, this is like massive. You know, still a long way to go, and we just have to keep on working. You know, the guys are working flat out now to double check things. You know, look at all the details. So I will love to win this Lydden Hill race, I must say. You know, and I will do everything I can.
Full-time World RX challenger and British driver Guy Wilkes made the final here 2 years ago, but the Lydden Hill circuit has changed a lot in characteristics since then.
The track is so fast. I mean, everybody's talking about how quick Petter and Kristoffersen are going, you know, breaking lap records by a second and over. But the track's just completely clean. There's no gravel left on the circuit anymore. It's pure grip. It's brutal on the tyres. It's hard for the engines because you're on the throttle, and when you're loaded up in the corners, it's just really, really, I mean, you can feel them almost begging for mercy. I don't know if the tyres are going to last for qualifying heats, let alone if we make semis. I mean, obviously we want to, but yeah, if I showed you the tyres, I'm sure you've seen some. It's unbelievable, the tyre wear.
Here are the standings at the end of day one. Petter Solberg with 2 wins is at the top of the table. Then Kristoffersen, Ekstrom, Backward and Hansen, who all repeated their results from Q1 in Q2. Loeb, Ken Block, Andrew Jordan racing at home in P8. At the minute making the cut, Timosyanov, Baumanis, Eriksson and Wilkes, 2 Brits in the top 12 at Lydden Hill, but there are plenty looking to make their way up to the top. Well, here we've got a look at some slow motion pictures from Lydden Hill. This is the joker lap merge, and that's Gronholm coming in behind Solberg. And Tim Harvey, we've seen that where the main line on the track is cleared here, the gravel remains on the exit to the joker.
It does, and if you can't get right across onto the cleaner tarmacy type track, you're hung out on the loose. If you come out side by side, hard to get traction.
Solberg here, you can see the track really cleaned up. We're expecting tyre wear to be an issue this weekend. It's very abrasive on the tarmac here anyway. And of course, when there isn't any loose, those left-hand tyres are going to take an absolute battering. It must be said, though, that the surface is smoother from that work they've done over the winter.
Yeah, definitely a lot smoother, but because it's faster and less gravelly, that's why we're getting the tyre wear. Look at this shot, all 4 wheels pointing exactly forward, 600 horsepower, 4-wheel drive, the rear wheel smoking on the right rear of Kristoffersen as he gets maximum exit speed.
And we've seen a big difference in style between him and Solberg. There's that white line on the exit of Devil's Elbow. They can run 3 wheels off it in Rallycross, so we run the opposite way around. 1 wheel on is enough for track limits. Here's Heikkinen right on the inside. Tim, you can get sucked right into Devil's Elbow because the apex is actually really late when you come in. It seems to turn in earlier than you think.
And it's and because of that wide exit as well, drivers tend to brake deep into the corner, get the car rotated, try and get as much exit speed to go uphill as possible. And this is the final chicane.
Timosyanov over the curbs on the inside, which have been lowered. If you hit those before, it was an enormous shunt, but these curbs on the right have been raised. I was talking to Andrew Jordan. He says it's a massive hit if you run over those curbs.
It is, because the cars are doing about 95 miles an hour when they hit that, 85, 95 miles an hour. So, and it's a big compression.
They're pulling 5th gear as they come through this section. Loeb there, look, just a tiny bit of opposite lock. Wipers on. I think that's shots from morning warm-up on Saturday. We had a thunderstorm just as the session started. And that's the only rain we're expecting to see all weekend. And this is the bottom of the hill. And Tim, I think most people regard Paddock Bend as the most committed corner in the sport.
Yeah, one of the finest rallycross corners, Paddock Bend. Down Hairy Hill, you're pulling again over 100 miles an hour, down 1 gear, pitch it in, back on the throttle. That's a bit sideways and a bit far out into the loose, but a great corner.
Another look at this one. This is Andrew Jordan, of course, here this weekend for Timo Scheider, going very well indeed in free practice. A circuit that he knows well from when he started his career back in minis in Rallycross.
Little bit of understeer there. You can see he hasn't pitched the rear end out.
Good to see him back for this last run at a fantastic circuit, Lydden Hill. My name's Andrew Coley. Joining me on commentary this weekend is Tim Harvey, and reporting from the Spotters Tower and the paddock, Neil Cole. Well, here are the standings ahead of Q3. Petter Solberg has won both of them so far from his teammate Kristoffersen. Ekström, Backer and Hansen have had the same results in Q1 and Q2. Then it's Loeb, Block and Andrew Jordan rounding out the top 8. Just inside the top 12, Timosyanov, Balmanis, Eriksson and Guy Wilkes just making the cut at the minute. But Heikkinen and the likes of Kevin Hansen will be looking to fight their way back in. On to the early races of Q3. Nitish, Heikkinen and Kevin Hansen all needing good results. Heikkinen was on an absolute flyer. It's Nitish right behind him, but unfortunately having had 2 bad results yesterday, I doubt the Latvian will make it through to the semi-finals. Kevin Hansen there as well. He'll need a good result in Q4. Heikkinen at the flag. Kazmarski here, watch, he moves across on Michael de Kirchmacher as he goes into the Joker lap, but it's Ollie O'Donovan on the inside, the Irish driver who won the last round of the British Rallycross Championship, leading at this point as the tail enders go through the Joker. De Kirchmacher in front of O'Donovan, but de Kirchmacher was still to Joker, and when he did, he retired anyway. Ollie taking the Q win in his race. Good job for the Irishman. Race 3, Guy Wilkes had a bad start. Kevin Eriksson was pushing on in the MJP Racing Team Austria car. You saw the bump he drove over there. We think that's what might have deflated Guy Wilkes' rear left tyre. You can see it hanging off, and he was hanging on. Eriksson took the flag, and Wilkes did make it, but he lost time. Head-to-head today, we're having a look at Sebastian Loeb versus Ken Block. Here are their stats for the season so far. See a big spike in results for Sebastian Loeb after a terrible start. They've met 3 times this year. 100% of the time it's gone to Sebastian Loeb, but Ken Block, we've seen here at Lydden Hill yesterday, was all over the back of him. Qualifying race wins, Sebastian Loeb's had 9, Ken Block has had 5. Neither of them has won a semi-final or a final as yet. Q3 race 4 on the line. Sebastian Loeb, the 9-time World Rally Champion, on the inside with Ken Block next to him. They had a great battle yesterday. Timosyanov, Andrew Jordan racing at home, and Niklas Gronholm on the outside. Ken Block on all new rubber look. Sebastian Loeb and Andrew Jordan with a new front left, and Timosyanov with new front tyres. I had a chat with Andrew Jordan this morning. He said he was wondering what was going to happen off the line, who would go Joker and who would go standard lap. Going to depend what kind of a start he gets. He's doing a first gear start where they were using second gear, but he felt it wasn't working for him. Will the home racer get it right this time? It's better. It's Ken Block who gets the worst start. Ken Block has to dip the clutch. Andrew Jordan now has to make a choice and decides to go standard lap because Gronholm got down to the Joker lap before him. So Andrew Jordan behind Timosyanov, Ken Block and Sebastian Loeb leading on the standard lap.
Yeah, 4 cars on the standard lap on lap 1 means usually someone comes out first. Andy Jordan is the one at the back of those 4, and maybe he's held up.
Well, he said to me that he felt he could follow most of these guys. It was interesting, I suppose, when you look at the lineup, and that's with no disrespect to Gronholm, who did brilliantly yesterday. Considering he's had a DNF, Gronholm's P16 after a P10 in Q2, but Andrew felt that most of these guys were quick enough they wouldn't hold him up. I think it's quite a sensible tactic. Along with the first gear starts, yesterday he had 2 bad starts, Tim, trying the team's second gear technique. Doesn't get enough time in these cars, does he?
No, he hasn't sat in this car at all. It's Timo Scheider's car. He's away racing the Nürburgring 24-hour race, and Andy hadn't even sat in it before this morning, so of course he hasn't made the same number of starts everyone else has.
And there's a sign of how well Gronholm's doing. Despite rolling yesterday in Q1, has come out of the Joker lap in front of Timosyanov. So Niklas Gronholm on a big push here. Can he overlap the guys in front?
Let's go, let's go.
There's Susan Hansen. Let's go, she's saying. Sebastian Loeb looking to improve on his pace in the Peugeot.
Typically neat and tidy, Sebastian Loeb. No effort wasted whatsoever. Absolute precision. Remember, he's an accomplished tarmac racer as well. Spent many races in Carrera Cup and sports cars, so he knows how to drive tarmac.
He certainly does. Ken Block out of the Joker lap. We also Timosyanov now going to look at the back of Gronholm as Sebastian Loeb does the fastest lap of the day. So Timosyanov has got better pace than Gronholm, it seems, and Gronholm's roof vent appears to be coming off the car. It's lifting up as he comes up the hill. Sebastian Loeb back past the commentary box. There he is again, keeping it tidy. As I say that, he throws it over the curbs on both sides. Lovely. Into the Joker lap then. Let's see what the rally driver makes of the Joker lap here. Deep. Loeb's deep, so Loeb runs wide in the Joker lap. Andrew Jordan's gone in with him, so Ken Block and Sebastian Loeb again are going to be racing round the final 3/4 of this lap to the line. Block had a couple of looks up the inside of Loeb, and I have to say Ken Block's form has continued from Belgium. He's doing brilliantly, Tim.
I think doing the whole World Championship is great for Ken Block. He's on it at every race now.
Has a look at the inside of Loeb. I don't think he'll do anything serious because he knows it'll be costing him time, so he tries to follow him down the hill. Ken yesterday was quick in the damp conditions. There's the target time, bottom right of your screen, 2:51.9. Loeb comes through a little bit wide. Block behind him is tidy in the focus. Loeb takes the flag. Ken Block right behind him. 2:51.4 sees Loeb go top so far. Andrew Jordan, has he got a problem with the car? Bit of a moment there over the line.
Yeah, just brought it home, but as we saw during that heat, Sebastian Loeb setting the fastest time we've seen today, and a 2:51.4 is also the quickest race time we've seen today.
Ken Block P2, Gronholm P3, Timosyanov and Andrew Jordan. I wonder if there was an issue looking at the attitude of the car over the line. It's going to cost him. Sebastian Loeb goes fastest with Ken Block in second place. So another good performance from both those guys. They were P6 and P7 overnight. That was a terrible start by Block, but he made up for it. Andrew Jordan, despite using first gear, ended up having to slot into fourth place off the line. We didn't see what happened to him because I think we were expecting, I suppose he was behind Timosyanov on that first lap. This was Loeb, look at that, popping the car up over the curbs. In the background, here's Andrew Jordan now. Everything looks okay at this point, so that's Block jokering coming out in front. In the background, we didn't see Andrew hit anything. Loeb comes out, then he just ends up P5. So Andrew Jordan and Guy Wilkes both hoping to make it through to the semi-finals. Loeb and Block looking like a sure thing. The last race of Q3 is on the line, and they are ready to go. Petter Solberg has won both the qualifying sessions so far. Is he going to get a clean sweep? Johan Kristoffersen, Matthias Ekström, Andreas Backrud and Timmy Hansen. Those guys, in fact, have been P1 through to P5 in both Q1 and Q2. Solberg with a new front right, that's very strange. Ekström's gone front left. Timmy Hansen with the left side and Backrud with the front. There it is. That is a new tyre from the looks of things.
It must be because his used tyres are all too used. He needs to put another tyre on, but he doesn't want to work it too hard so he can use it later in the event.
The front right corner would seem sensible if you're looking to protect it. Having said that, we've seen what happened to Guy Wilkes, of course. Ready to race, lights on. Green light away, a very, very even start between these guys. Who's going to go to the Joker? Backrud backs out of it. Ekström goes Joker lap, and Timmy Hansen slotted in behind him. That is exactly what happened in Q2. I think it was yesterday. Ekström, though, defensive on the brakes. They've lost a little bit of time there in the Joker team.
Yeah, they were fighting amongst themselves, and Ekström had to go in tight to prevent the inside of being open, but that would have helped them out.
Solberg leads from Kristoffersen. Solberg's race time yesterday was a 2:48.0. Backward looks like he's going with Kristoffersson this time, and he's right up underneath him. Does Backward go Joker? He does.
Well, that could well be because his spotter spotted that the others lost time in the Joker, and he could regain it in front of them if he can get back out. He can't. He's on the losing side by side.
Can't quite do it. Slots in behind Ekstrom. It's exactly where he came out yesterday when he did the Joker on lap 4. So would have been hoping just to get out in front of Matthias because he's looking very, very racing to me. Ekstrom goes defensive. Hansen sees an opportunity. Hansen round the outside, trying to get it done. He'll try and get the traction up the inside now, but Hansen's now on the outside of Backward. Oh, Backward's going to go back a place. Timmy Hansen shuts the door on him. Backward's having none of it. He's late on the brakes, sends the focus into paddock bend and holds the position.
Well, this is all working out nicely for Solberg and Kristoffersson as they fight, the others fight it out.
Interesting, they split their Joker strategy for the first time this weekend. Solberg and Kristoffersson have both choked on the last lap in Q1 and Q2. This time round, Solberg goes with a lap to go. Now Kristoffersson has clear air. Can he push and get out in front of Solberg? Mentally, he'd like to do that, wouldn't he? Because it'll annoy Petter if he does.
Yeah, I think, but Petter is absolutely on it at the moment.
Backward on it as well in the background there. Timmy's going to have another look at Andreas Backward. I feel like Backward here has possibly, he's lost time by getting stuck in with these guys, so maybe the wrong Joker call. I guess, as you say, they were hoping to get him out in front, but it hasn't happened. But we're going to have a look at the front and see where Kristoffersson is. He goes into the Joker lap now. Solberg on the inside. Kristoffersson's got to get this perfect, but look at Solberg. He's miles out in front. The double World Rallycross champion is throwing it down here to the rest of the field. Kristoffersson comes out in P2. But Solberg is out in front. Solberg's Joker lap prowess showing again.
Yeah, he is a master of that, isn't he? And great tactics by the VW team not to do it on the same lap, just in case there was a problem.
Backward defending from Hansen. Hansen again goes wide and deep. He'll now try and go tight backwards in the middle of the track. Timmy having a look. I think he's going to have to follow into the line, and he'll know now not to lose too much time. But the man who's going to take the flag is Petter Solberg with a 2:48.0. 3.4 seconds faster than Sebastian Loeb, 0.55. It's not quite as quick as he went yesterday, but we're talking hundreds. Solberg's pulled over to the side of the track. What's going on here? Is he just getting out to wave at the crowd? You wouldn't put it past Petter. Yes, he is.
Yes.
So he takes it with a 2:48.0, and that means he's won 3 out of the 4 qualifying sessions. And of course, the 4th one is still to come. 2:49.7 for Kristoffersson. Ekstrom there. Those guys go top 3. Interestingly, Loeb is in P4, Backward 5. Timmy Hansen drops down to 7, so they don't continue with their top 5 times like yesterday. But Solberg is very happy. Look at that Union Jack gloves on, waving to an appreciative Lydden Hill crowd. This is where he made his international rallycross debut in 2013. Didn't go quite as well as this weekend is going.
No, but he's been on form all weekend. Makes a great start straight into the standard lap and doesn't put a foot wrong.
Absolutely flying. This was the point at which I thought Backward was looking like he could keep up, certainly with Kristoffersson. He went Joker. I think maybe he thought he had the pace on them. These guys, I say, didn't, to me, make the best Joker on the first lap, but whatever it was enough. And Backward on that loose gravel couldn't get past. Great fight as well between Hansen and Backward. I wonder if Hansen might get told off for that.
Well, Backward wasn't having anything of it, was it? He wasn't going to be lent on like that. But of course, it cost them lap time all the time they're doing that. But I think you're right. I think Backward should have stayed behind the Polos.
So a decent fight through to the end, but at the minute there's only one man who's winning overall, and that is Petter Solberg. Is he going to get the clean sweep? Can anyone stop him at Lydden Hill?
Pernilla, that's 3 out of 3 qualifying wins for Petter, and that time is incredible. The tyre strategy was odd, but it seemed to work.
Yeah, something they do is right, but it seems really good, like really the weekend, and he's so motivated. You know, it's really special. It's the last race here at Lydden Hill. I mean, it's got such history, so I think he's so focused on this one, more than I've seen him in a long time.
Wow, okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Pernilla there saying how focused Petter is, how desperate he wants to win this one. This is a historic circuit. He'd love to take it, and at the minute, it looks like nobody is going to be able to stop him. So he's won Q1, Q2, and Q3. Johan Kristoffersson in P2 in all of those. Matthias Ekstrom in P3 in all of those. Those are the guys who are looking like they are the pace setters. Backward is currently P4. Loeb, Timmy Hansen, Ken Block, Kevin Eriksson. Timmers Janov, Gansbell Manis, Andrew Jordan is just inside. Toppy Heikkinen has scrabbled his way back in, but that's cost Guy Wilkes' place in the semi, along, of course, with that puncture he had earlier on. Can we get 2 Brits through or not? Kevin Hansen, Rainis Nitish further down the field. I don't think they're going to make it this time.
Well, gentlemen, here we are on the pre-grid with some amazing classic rallycross cars behind us. First of all, Rallycross, what does it mean to you to be here racing at the 50th anniversary of this sport starting here?
You know, first of all, I can say big respect to the guys who brought the cars like that to the race circuit, and 50 years, you know, of rallycross. I'm still so young. They know the history. I've been racing Lada a lot, and you know, I hope that or it is similar to these cars. You know, gearbox, the normal one, 4 gears. It doesn't accelerate so fast, and it can be similar. But I would love to try these cars as well.
Now, Pat, you've driven all generations of rallycross cars. Which is your favourite era of the cars that are behind you?
I love the cars today, as well as the Group Bs in the 80s, and going back to these in the 60s. Right, they're all good.
Kenneth, for you to come back here to Lydden Hill every year with the World Championship as a team boss, having been a driver, give us a sense of what it's like, how the level has changed over the years.
Since I started, you know, many years ago, 30 years since I started in European, I always have believed in the sport, and it feels great now to see the history back. And one car, you asked Nitis here which car he would like to drive. I would be love to sit in Will Gollop's car. That would have been lovely.
In the old days, you just hung on. There was no finesse.
Just grab the steering wheel and
you closed your eyes, because there was no skill in those days, let's be honest. It was just pure, let's go for it and see if we can get to the finish. Kenneth brought this lovely finesse to the sport, and he's a legend. Let's not forget that. This man is a legend.
And so, predictions from the three of you, who's going to be on top step of the podium this weekend?
Me.
I think Pat.
Because I'm the tallest.
No.
Because I'm the biggest, I'm going to stand at the top, you see, so how can you ask that question? Could be anybody. There's a dozen people here that can win. A dozen people can win this weekend.
If you could give a word of advice to Rallycross, first up, Kenneth, what would you say to Rallycross about doing well here at Lydden Hill?
Track. Don't disturb the ball when it's rolling. Keep the speed.
Okay, very good. And Pat?
Thank you.
I think Kenneth said it. This is a different circuit to every other circuit around the world where it's very fast. This is why Ekstrom's being a touring car driver, and this is why Jordan touring cars are very quick here, because you have to be very fast, but you have to be very smooth, which is a little bit different.
What's the secret to Paddock Bend? No lifting?
In the Irish 200, you just close your eyes and hope you come out. That's the...
On then to Q4, but let's have a look at the standings ahead of that. This is after Q3. Petter Solberg looked 3 wins so far. Kristoffersen 3 seconds. Matthias Ekstrom with 3 third places. So super consistent from those guys. And it's Andreas Backerud, Sebastian Loeb, Timmy Hansen, Ken Block and Kevin Eriksson are currently the top 8. But of course, it's all about who the top 12 are. At the minute, Timmins Yarnov, Baumanis, Andrew Jordan in 11th. Needs to hold on. Toppy Hakanen's just in. Guy Wilkes is just out. Can he make it? Well, the first race then, Kosmarski off the line, shutting the door as he had done in Q3, and this time having a little bit more contact as he moved right rather than left. That was Oliver Bennett, using all the track and a little bit more, but once all the Joker laps had played out, it was Choo Choo who took the flag. Q4, race 2. Ollie O'Donovan, Guy Wilkes and Andrew Jordan, an Irishman and 2 Englishmen lining up next to each other. Andrew Jordan looked on with 3 new tyres, so they want to make that car dead cert for the semi-finals. René Munich and Gregoire de Moustier. Andrew Jordan in the tricky position of being middle of the grid. So can go either way, but it does very much depend which way the cars around him want to go as well. Guy Wilkes currently sitting P13, needs 1 more place to get in. Andrew Jordan's P11. Ollie O'Donovan, we know, is a fast starter on the inside, but who's going to get away this time? It's a pretty even start. Who's got it? Guy Wilkes has. Andrew Jordan goes into the joke lap. He's going to push de Moustier wide. So Andrew Jordan jokers on lap 1. Andrew had a broken prop shaft in the last run, Tim. We found out, of course, that's why he dropped off the back. He's in P11, but a good time here would make this safe, and Guy Wilkes has got to go on a mission at the front.
Yeah, exactly as I thought might happen, but of course, Ollie O'Donovan he's such a good starter, it took everything Wilkes had to get in front of him into turn 1.
So Wilkes up at the hairpin with O'Donovan and Munich in the ex-Solberg DS3. There are Wilkes' team. Those guys multitasking, working on the car spotting as well. You know, let's be honest, guys, he's up against it this year. They're running a small team, and it's great to see a privateer from the UK in the full championship. So go on, Guy, let's see if you can get through to your semis at home, mate. Munich goes into the joke lap. Andrew Jordan now, having joked already. He's going to chase those guys down. So Jordan's got the overlap on Munich. How far back Munich? I think at the minute that would put Andrew in front, because Munich was right there. Munich and Demoustier racing out down towards Devil's Elbow. Munich's going to be brave if he looks up the inside there, decides against it, but you can still see that attitude of the car similar to when Solberg had it.
Yeah, very much so. The Citroën always moves around a lot. Look, he changing direction on the brakes, turning in. He's up the inside of Moustier here. Will he get the acceleration off the corner? No, a little bit too much oversteer. But as you say, I think Andy Jordan is in the cat seat here. He's only 3.2 seconds behind, with Wilkes and O'Donovan still to Joker. And as we say that O'Donovan goes on the Joker, Jordan will definitely be in front. So it's just going to be Guy Wilkes left on the final lap to do his Joker.
So it's the two Brits against each other. O'Donovan's got a race to Moustier this time, but O'Donovan has got the overlap, takes off the bump of O'Donovan's car. As he comes out, Demoustier's gone brave up the inside. Demoustier's going to hold on through Devil's Elbow. Fair play. That was strong, but fair.
Yeah, he might get some retaliation now from Ollie O'Donovan up the inside. Yes, he does, because Demoustier actually goes wide on the brakes, and that could let Munich through as well.
Three-way fight here. O'Donovan's back in front. Munich starts in behind. He defends on the way down into Paddock Bend, but where up the front is Andrew Jordan and Guy Wilkes. Guy Wilkes is in the Joker. There he is. Andrew Jordan is on the inside. Wilkes hard on the handbrake. If you watch some of the other guys, they're a little bit tidier through there. Still, this is good though. Guy Wilkes, as I say, is P13 and will want to go through. Andrew Jordan will be looking to set the best time possible and move himself up from P11, having had that broken prop shaft in Q3. So Jordan and Wilkes here fighting for a spot in the semi-finals.
Yeah, it's been a good effort by both the Brits, and Jordan has had a nice, neat race here.
3 minutes, 0.044 is the target time, but remember, that's going to go a lot quicker. The times that Solberg's been setting him more like 2:48. Where is Andrew Jordan? It's a great time, 2:52.3. That should secure his place in the semis. Guy Wilkes has gone through as a 2:55.8. It's going to depend very much for Guy on what happens to other people through the rest of this qualifying session.
And Andy Jordan said he would be absolutely made up to make the semis this year. He's done it.
Fantastic. Good job. Well, Wilkes is carrying on around the track, so Guy Wilkes is still flat out around the circuit, so his spotters obviously haven't managed to let him know the race is over. They do go P1, P2 and P3 though, so that's great for Andrew Jordan, Guy Wilkes and Ollie O'Donovan, current leader of the British Rallycross Championship.
Andrew, great to get a race win. The time looks good as well, so you might be making it into the semis.
Yeah, fingers crossed. We broke a prop shaft in Q3, which put us right back on the back foot. So sat on the grid, knowing we needed a good result, but I thought we'd be able to get a win, and frankly, whatever happened, it's nice to get a heat race win in front of the home crowd. It's fantastic.
Well done, thank you, good luck.
Thanks, Neil.
Getting towards the tail end now, Q4, race 3 on the line. Kevin Hansen on the inside, Niklas Gronholm, Janis Baumanis, Timur Timosyanov, teammates side by side. JB Dubourg, there's your tyre choices. Baumanis has gone with the hard-wearing left-hand side, new on the car. Timosyanov has gone with 2 new up front, along with Dubourg, Hansen and Gronholm on used tyres. They may not have anything else left. Grid fairly tightly packed on the inside. You can see the difference in spacing there. On the outside, Dubourg has given it just a little bit more room. There's Graham Roadmark. Kevin Hansen spotter. Here we go, on to the limiter, on to the handbrake. Great start by Baumanis in the middle, where his teammate Timosyanov went backwards. Baumanis is going to go Joker straight away. Dubourg on the grass. I'm pretty sure that happened to him last time out as well, when he had the door shut on him in the Joker lap. Look how tidy Baumanis is through there. That's pretty key, but Kevin Hansen leads it on the standard lap.
Yeah, Timosyanov, a bad start, nearly stalled, just recovered, and then no option. Look, he's fighting, trying to make up time. Only he and Baumanis are through in the top 12 at the moment, but they still need a good fast race.
They do, if they want to secure a good grid position in the semis, and that's going to be key here in front of this massive crowd at Lydden Hill. Hansen with just a little gap, and runs a little bit deep in Paddock Bend. Timosyanov was Tim. There we go. So that's actually released Timosyanov, and that's a result for him. Is Gronholm going to come back out in front of Balmanis? I don't think he will. I think Balmanis has done enough here, but it's going to be tight. As I say that, Gronholm's on the throttle and trying to come around the outside. So good response there to try and get him in front, but it wasn't enough.
Yeah, it looked like he was ahead, didn't he, all the time until he came just off that bump off the jump, but then he was in the loose stuff, and Balmanis was able to pass on the nice dry halfback.
From the commentary position, I can see De Bourg is out of his car and running across the grass in the centre where the flags are. So De Bourg is out of the car and out of this race, and that will see him, I'm sure, out of the semi-finals. Yeah, it was P14 before this one. Timosyanov, enough curve there to pitch the car right up on two wheels.
But as you say, that freed him up, and he closed up on Hansen on that lap, but it's not going to be enough. Look.
It's not, it's cost him. He now needs to try and find the traction to get Gronholm. He does, but he's behind his teammate Balmanis. I'm sure he won't do anything stupid. Kevin Hansen, where was he prior to this one? He was P17, he only got P11 in Q3. Kevin, I don't think he's going to make it.
And it's going to be very tight after the joke lap, because remember, Timosyanov was right up behind him, and he came out behind Balmanis.
Timosyanov very nearly fired Balmanis off at the hairpin there. He had it fully backed off, didn't he? And backed in sideways, steering it, doing everything he could to avoid the back of it. Kenneth Hansen is up in the spotters tower as well with Graham Roadmaster. These guys now going to be saying to Kevin, come on, nail this, look at this, look at Kevin Hansen's style, super tidy, in tight on the left, tight on the right, gets the power on, he's alongside Balmanis. Kevin Hansen's going to be up the inside as they go down into Devil's Elbow, going to need to brake as late as he dares. Kevin's going to hold on, will he run the nose deep or not? Balmanis gets back up the inside, they're going to race it out up the hill. I think that Kevin's going to take this, so Kevin is on the inside. Balmanis, can he make the cut back on the exit of the hairpin? He hits the rear, gives Kevin a nudge, lets him know he's there, but my goodness me, that went on for ages.
That was great side-by-side racing, but if you've got the inside of Devil's Elbow, it's always going to be your corner.
Kevin Hansen then holds on to take it. It's a good time, not good enough to depose Andrew Jordan, who leads Q4 at the minute, but Kevin Hansen, Balmanis, Timosyanov, Gronholm and De Bourg. There is De Bourg's car. We didn't see him retire, just suddenly realised he wasn't with Balmanis, who he joked with. There's the result, 253.6, Balmanis, Timosyanov, Gronholm and De Bourg. Where do they slot into Q4? That's where the four of them go in behind Andrew Jordan. So Andrew Jordan's done a good job there. Guy Wilkes down in P6. Will that be enough to see him up into the semis? Lots of questions as we approach the end of Q4. Off the start, Timosyanov was left behind there. Balmanis looked managing to move across and shut the door as he went into the Joker. And this was where I thought Gronholm was either looking up the inside of Kevin or possibly defending from Timosyanov. Look how close that was as well to taking his teammate out.
Yeah, and in actual fact, these two fighting probably cost them a second or so on the run.
That then was Kevin Hansen coming out. Look at this, side by side. Now, if there'd been a lot of gravel there, Kevin might have struggled, but he manages to get late on the brakes. Balmanis tried to overlap him on the exit, gave him a little nudge up at the hairpin. Shame for Kevin Hansen. The team have worked really hard to repair that car since Mete, but I don't think he's going to make the semis. Great race all the same.
Kevin, it was a great last lap joker, great race win and a good way to celebrate your birthday.
Yeah, you know, I love being at Lydden Hill. You know, I started my rallycross career here, so I'm really enjoying it, even if I don't really have the speed to be at the top as I want. But great last race, and finally get the race win in Q4 this year, and really glad to put on a show for the fans here at Lydden.
Happy birthday, thank you.
Thank you.
2 races left to go in Q4. Let's see the lineup for race 4. Ken Block, Timmy Hansen, Topi Heikkinen, Kevin Eriksson and Reinis Nitish. New front left for Topi and for Timmy. Topi is currently in P12, so needs to hold on to that. Guy Wilkes has done a good job, and he's the man behind 255.8. Beating him won't necessarily be enough. There we go. Come on, Timmy. Get yourself super fired up. And then checks his gloves calmly afterwards. But he's all fired up.
Nothing calm in that cockpit, I can tell you.
No. All fired up. This is why he's about to unleash 600 horsepower on the way down to turn 1 with 5 other drivers. He gets a squeeze from Heikkinen and from Block on either side. Oh, and then Hansen goes all the way across the Joker. He's alongside Heikkinen. He's done well there, to be fair. Maybe pushed them out, but then didn't really have anywhere else to go. Kevin Eriksson's ended up wide. That's a half spin for Toppy, so Toppy's ended up spinning to the inside. Hansen comes at best. What happened there, Tim?
It was never going to work out well when 3 cars went to the Joker.
Side by side as well. I don't think Timmy did anything wrong there because he stayed out the barrier and the others are just alongside him.
Yeah, he had to do that, didn't he?
Well, he's got to, no choice, exactly. Rally's Nitish here in P2. He's not going to make it, so you know. Had a DNF in Q2, missed his Joker in Q1, so Nitish is P20, but all the same will be looking to make a good showing for the Latvians who've travelled over here. We've seen the Latvian flag in the paddock. They follow him all around the world. Great to see. And Ken Block at the minute, for me, is doing a brilliant job. This is about whether or not he can beat Timmy Hansen as Toppy Hakkinen comes past the commentary position, so he's got the car going. I wonder, Tim, what state the Joker lap's in, because there were tyres and barriers everywhere up there.
Yeah, we saw one of the cars short-circuiting it because the barrier was pushed down in front of it. Marshals can't get on the track, but I think the original tyre stack they should go round is still there.
Well, we'll see then when Ken Block and Rally's Nitish decide to Joker. The guys might have had the chance to change it, but I wouldn't be crossing the road in front of one of this lot, I can tell you that right now. Ken Block on a mission in the Focus. Brilliant form from him in Mete, and good form again, I think here. Look at the black lines there, which come from that curve. They're hanging on to that car sideways in big gear, Tim.
And the car is still wheel spinning while we're doing it.
Absolutely outrageous, these machines are. They really are fantastic to watch. Block dives on the brakes and turns it in. The famous number 43 up the hill.
Yeah, 600 horsepower, but 900 Newton meters of torque.
They say, though, don't they, that this hill is hard to see on the TV. It's actually one that you can see the slope on. It's particularly if you look at that angle there. It's really steep up and it's mega steep down, and this is so brave. We ride on board with Timmy Hansen as Nitish in front takes a slightly later line in. There's still a bit of dust about. Look, over the curve, pull 5th gear, bang up on the there, and into the Joker lap goes Block and Nitish. We saw in front. Timmy's going to get this. Ken Block didn't go around the tyre bale, neither did Nitish. I think they might get a penalty for that, because to me the bale's in the right place, but the stewards might give them the benefit of the doubt, Tim.
It's very confusing, isn't it? Because it looks like on the approach like the bales have moved, but you could see from the tyre marks they were in the right place.
Yeah, Toppy got spun round, didn't he, and moved the inside markers. So I hope the stewards give them the benefit of the doubt for that, because I think when you're in that position, you've just come out of that dip and there's an open line, you take it.
Of course you do.
Hansen on his last lap, looking to try and beat Andrew Jordan's benchmark of 252.3. I think he's going to do it. Up and over the curbs aggressively. He does it very nicely indeed. He smashed it. 3 seconds to 1,000th. Look, there's where the yeah, you're right, Tim. Look, the tyres are in the correct place.
Is where they should go. But of course, if you come around that corner, you see that big hole. It looks as though the tyres have been moved across.
Well, and you're going to follow on. You're going to follow the barriers. You're going to see them in the middle of the road, and you're going to think, well, where do I go then? So,
but others will say they gained advantage and lap speed as a result.
Well, wait and see. Timmy's happy. You can see that in his eyes. He's on the radio immediately.
Probably talking about that very subject. I'm sure Neil will ask him.
Perhaps he's coming up with his excuses for the stewards already. I don't think it's his fault. I think Timmy Hansen takes the win there very nicely indeed. Ken Block, P2, Rally's Nitish, Kevin Eriksson, Toppy Hakkinen. Where do they slot in? So Nitish, Block and Hansen are faster than Jordan. He moves down to P4. Good job by Timmy Hansen. Will anything happen about that Joker lap? We'll find out soon enough. On board with Eriksson off the line. Right, watch this, Tim. 3 cars abreast on the left. Timmy's now moved across into Hakkinen.
Look, he had a whack. He's had several whacks. He's out on the grass. Hakkinen has spun all the way around and pushed the barriers through. And at that point, Eriksson had no choice but to go there.
When the dust cleared, here it is from another angle. So watch Eriksson look. He's on the throttle around the outside. Hakenen's got nowhere to go. He's tried to hold on, can't do it. And Kevin, then the dust has cleared. He's straight line. Thanks very much. I'll take that through the middle. This is Ken Block and Rally's Nitish out front. I don't think we'll see their Joker laps. We might do. Let's have a look now as they come down through. No, we're going to ride on board instead with Eriksson through that fantastic paddock bend in 4th gear. Up and over the curves on the left and the right. There is the Joker lap. So Block and Nitish taking the shortcut. If anybody complains about that, it'd be Eriksson, because I think he might have got one of those if they'd had to take the standard Joker. But great win for Hansen. He's top of Q4 so far.
Timmy, it looked like Toppy wasn't very happy there. What was he saying?
No, because he tried to squeeze me into the wall, and I held my place. That's why he was mad. So when you're side by side, we have to leave space for each other, and he left no space for me. That's why he got physical. But I was side by side, I kept my position.
But apart from that, it was a very good race, and the time is the quickest of the session so far.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's good. I had a nice clean run. Track is getting bumpy and difficult, but the Peugeot is handling it well. Car feels much better than yesterday. And I hope we have good tires left to challenge Petter and Johan for the final.
Thank you, Timmy.
Well, Timmy Hansen feels that was fair. Toppy obviously disagrees. I'm inclined to agree with Timmy, but we'll see. On then to the last race of Q4. And this one contains all three of the winners at Lydden Hill from when it's been a World Championship event. Petter Solberg on the inside with his teammate Johan Kristoffersson. Can anyone stop Petter doing the clean sweep? Matthias Ekstrom in the middle of the grid. Sebastian Loeb, P4, and Andreas Backerud out in P5. Loeb, look, has gone for new lefts. It looks like Kristoffersson's gone for new rights. Interesting. So some people looking to save tyres, maybe. We'll see. We'll get Tim Harvey's thoughts on that in just a moment. Are any of these guys going to get a repeat win here at Lydden Hill for the last time? Backerud won it in 14, Solberg in 15, Ekstrom in 16. This is their last chance to claim a better grid spot in the semi-finals. The ready-to-race light goes out, and we're underway for the last qualifying race here. Kristoffersson gets the better of Solberg this time, and Solberg's going to have to follow him up the inside. Ekstrom gets past Loeb, and Backerud has gone into the joke lap on his own, and that, for me, is great news for Backerud, because he looked like he had good pace last time out, and he got the joker wrong.
Yeah, very much so. I thought what was going to happen was exactly what happened in the last three times they started in those positions in the last three qualifying races, and Solberg got the jump on Kristoffersson, and Ekstrom went to the joker. This time it was different. Backerud has gone to the joker, and Ekstrom's followed them.
Ekstrom then is in, Loeb right behind him. Ekstrom's having to go a little bit defensive. That played immediately into the hands of Kristoffersson and Solberg. We're talking margins here, tiny, tiny margins, but that will also help Backerud. He's a little bit wide, I think, Backerud, as he came past our commentary position, just a car width off that inside barrier. Andrew Jordan was saying to his team earlier today that now that the gravel's been swept, actually the fastest line round Chestnut isn't necessarily right in tight on the barrier.
No, but the drivers have all been out looking at the circuit, and they're picking up some new lines that are slightly less bumpy.
Kristoffersson leading from Solberg. Can Kristoffersson set a better time here? And what will that do for the mindset of these two guys? Solberg's done a 2:48.0, a 2:48.5 and a 2:48.0 in the three qualifying sessions so far, winning all of them. And the difference in their driving style, you guys are watching Ekstrom and Hansen, but the difference as they came past us, Solberg is sideways, Kristoffersson is straight. Who is going to have the better tyres? Solberg's decided to release himself. He's headed off into the joker lap, which we can see has been repaired since the previous race. Loeb behind was slow through the joker there compared to Solberg. Solberg comes out in front of Backerud, so is that a response to Backerud's lap times, maybe?
Yeah, quite possibly, but up until this point, Solberg had set the fastest lap in every qualifying race, and so certainly had the pace.
Kristoffersson now has to decide how hard he wants to push, whether he wants to try and save the tyres, or, I mean, he's almost, I think he is guaranteed, unless Solberg has a problem, Kristoffersson's guaranteed to be P2, basically. There you saw Pernilla tap the stopwatch up in the spotters tower. Kristoffersson heads into the joker lap now. Ekstrom goes in behind him. They're watching for Solberg on the inside. Kristoffersson keeps it tidy. This one's going to be tight, but I think Johan's got it. He's going to pull the car back in onto the grippy section. He does. Kristoffersson has got the better of his teammate Solberg for the first time this weekend, Tim.
Yeah, he has, but it's going to be still going to be a bit not enough too late.
Ekstrom and Loeb fighting it out. Kristoffersson will be looking to try and beat the target time in this one of Timmy Hansen, 2:49.3, but I reckon as well he might be looking to beat Solberg, unless of course he just saves those tyres just a tiny little bit. There is your target at the bottom of the screen. He comes through the last corner. Where's that checker flag, and where is the clock going to stop Kristoffersson over the line? 2:49.3, so he doesn't beat the times of Solberg, and in fact he doesn't beat the time of Hansen, so Timmy Hansen wins Q4
with that
drive.
question mark over his
contact
over the joker lap line.
Well, Hansen of course was through it before anybody knocked it out of the way, but it's whether or not they question his contact with Toppy Heikkinen, I guess, isn't it, really? Kristoffersson takes this one from Solberg, Backerud, Loeb and Ekstrom, who I think probably held each other up there with that fight, and there they slot in behind. So Timmy Hansen, with a big smile on his face about tyre wear. Have we got better tyres for the semi-finals and the final? Are Peugeot going to pull this off right at the death of the weekend? So could be great tactics by them. Kristoffersson looking good too, though. the line then. Bakkerud went to the Joker on his own, and good decision. I wonder if Loeb had to think about it.
Yeah, Loeb possibly should have done. It was a great decision by Bakkerud to go that, and he was right on the tail of them at the end. Action up at the top of the hill.
These two, though, Loeb and Ekstrom, for me, fighting each other the whole way around. You know you're both quick. For me, they've cost each other a bit. It won't matter. They both made it, but all the same, Kristoffersson with a very tidy Joker there. I'm sure it won't bother Solberg that much, but there will be a little irritation there that he hasn't won all 4 of the qualifying sessions. Let's see who's got the best tyres. We've got the semis and the finals still to come.
Johan, second overall in Q4, but more importantly, you beat Petter for the first time this weekend.
Yes, but that's not the most important. The most important is to be P2 overall after the intermediates. So that was very great, and I had 2 good tires now on the right side because I had to take them, and I was really trying to save them and drive as safe as I could and try to slide as last as I could to save them for the semi-final and the final. So it will be interesting.
Thank you. Thank you.
It will be interesting. Here are the standings after Q4. It was 3 qualifying session wins for Solberg. Kristoffersson in P2, look, was second in every single one. It was Hansen who took the final qualifying session. Ekstrom in 4th, Bakkerud. Ken Block makes it in 6th. Great job by him again. Sebastian Loeb and Kevin Eriksson, the top 8. Andrew Jordan goes through in 9th, so up 2 positions. Really good by him. Baumanis and Timoziano, the start team, makes it through. Heikkinen just scrapes through in P12. And Guy Wilkes, absolutely gutted for Guy. Look, he missed out by 1 qualifying point down the right-hand side for making the semi-finals at home.
Well, here we are in MJP Team Austria, where both cars have made it through to the semis. Kevin Eriksson, you must be happy to be in the semi-final.
Yeah, of course. The high level this year is just a good position to be in a semi. And now I'm in the second row, which is good. I'm P8, so I hope I can have a good semi and hopefully reach the final.
Yeah, it's been a tricky up and down season so far, so it must be nice to get some clean races, get some good data. And tell us a little bit about this circuit.
I mean, this is the last time we drive this circuit, so it's a shame. It has a lot of history in it, but it's like the gravel this year is like much rougher, harder, if I say, like concrete almost. So it's like driving on tarmac and concrete, I would say. But it's a fun track, and I like when they have a Joker in the beginning because you can split strategies. You don't have this bang and big crash in the start. So I'll see what I would do in the semi, but everything can happen.
Just a quick word about your teammate that we're going to speak to in a moment, Andrew Jordan. Are you impressed with what he's done today?
Yeah, of course. I mean, to not be in the car for a year and then be on pace. But I mean, Andrew is such a professional driver. He's won the British Touring Car Championship, quite some time. So I'm impressed. But he showed already the first time when I drove for OMC that he finished P3. So he has the pace. But I'm still impressed. Like the level has gone up.
Thanks, Kevin. Let's swing around and have a word with the man himself, representing Great Britain and getting through to the semi-finals. That was your dream goal, and you've done it.
It was my dream to try and do it. Did I think it was possible? I thought we'd need a little bit of luck on our side, but to be honest, we've had kind of top 10 pace all weekend, which has surprised me and pleasantly surprised me.
But it's not been easy. I mean, you've had to battle, and you had the prop shaft failure in Q3, I think. So talk us about the up and downs of the last 4 sessions.
It's the highs and lows. This morning I was so relaxed, just looking forward to a good solid day. Then you have the prop shaft break, so you're on the back foot a little bit because we're on the cusp of not making it through them. But we had put some new tyres on it, all in for Q4, and did a respectable time. And I probably kept a little bit too much in reserve, if I'm honest, because I knew I just needed a solid time. But hindsight's a wonderful thing. I've had an absolute blast, and whatever happens now, into the semi-final, anything can happen. Have we got the pace to get to the final? Not an absolute pace, but I'll give it my all.
A final word, because you've obviously competed at Lydden Hill many times, right back at the beginning of your career, before even touring cars. What's the circuit like right now? It seems to be different.
It is. It's very abrasive on the gravel sections, and there's quite a few holes now, so the car feels like it's getting a really hard time. So I've had a chat with the engineer about trying to do something just to make sure the car will get to the end, because the car's having a real hard time. But it's great to be here. The weather is perfect. A little bit too hot in the car, but perfect, and a great crowd as well.
Good luck in the semi.
Cheers. Thanks, Neil.
Oh, hello from Lydden Hill in the UK. You can see it there, the home of Rallycross, the birthplace of this fantastic sport 50 years ago this year, February the 4th, 1967. It's brilliant to be back here with round 5 of the World Rallycross Championship. My name's Andrew Cody, alongside me is Tim Harvey. The cars are in the pre-grid, they are raring to go, and we can show you just where they have all qualified. So let's have a look then at our top 16. First of all, Solberg and Kristoffersen were the top 2. Solberg taking another top qualifier spot. Timmy Hansen, Matthias Ekstrom, Andreas Backer, Sebastian Loeb. Ken Block with a brilliant performance this weekend. Andrew Jordan makes it through for the Brits. Baumanis, Eriksson, Timosyanov and Heikkinen. The odds go to semi-final 1, the evens go to semi-final 2. And a word for Guy Wilkes, really unlucky to get a puncture. He'd have made it through to the semi-finals here, and we would love to have seen that. Well, Neil Cole has been down in the pre-grid, and he caught up early with John Taylor, the 1973 European Rallycross champion, alongside, of course, double world champion Petter Solberg.
Well, as we get warming up for the semi-finals, we have the first ever European Rallycross champion, John Taylor, and the first ever World Rallycross champion, Petter Solberg. First of all, John, how has this changed since '73 when you won the championship here at Lydden Hill?
Well, there's no mud. That's the first thing. Secondly, cars were 0 to 60 in about 7 seconds. And I don't know what these projectiles do, but under 3 seconds, I think. So the speeds are vastly different. And the suspension, that's the brakes and suspension. Of course, they're four-wheel drive, but how they can throw the car into the corner and it just stays there. Doesn't matter what the surface, they just blast their way through. And there's none better than this man here.
But of course, they couldn't be doing it without the pioneering work that you guys did. And Petter, what kind of a debt do you guys owe the history of Lydden Hill and drivers like John?
Well, first of all, I started my rallycross career in '93, and I wasn't even born when you drove, just to let you know. So
no, don't call me granddad.
No. But still, you know, rallycross is a fantastic sport. It's an entertaining sport. And I think for spectators and TV, this action that goes on all the time, you know, that's what gives us kick. You know, even me and Sebastian Loeb, you know, on the heart on the start line, I tell you, it's terrible. It's like a response system, you know. It's
and you miss the break and you're stuffed.
Yeah, exactly. You have to be quite perfectionist to do this, you know.
But the interesting thing for me is the Joker lap, which does throw into a different equation into it. And you have spotters up in the tower telling you when to do.
Yeah, sometimes we take the decision ourselves, and
do you?
That may be not the best decision, but
Okay, gentlemen, thank you very much. You can go and watch, and you have a semi-final to race in.
I will do my best. Thank you.
Thank you. Good to see you.
Lovely stuff from 2 Rallycross legends. You can see the cars are on the grid already. Here is what we've got coming up for you in the next hour. Well, first of all, of course, we have the World RX semi-finals. The top 3 from each of those go through. We've got round 2 of the RX2 Championship for 2017, the final. And then, of course, we have the World RX final live. Who is going to win round 5? Well, earlier today, the world of Rallycross came together to pay their respects to all those involved in the tragic events in Manchester. There we are, Timmy Hansen's car sporting the sticker which all of the drivers are carrying this weekend. We are with you, Manchester. And so we look at the grid then for semi-final number 1. On the front row, Petter Solberg with Timmy Hansen next to him. Oh, 3 new tyres for Petter Solberg. They've done a good job if they've managed to hold on to those all weekend. Row 2, teammates Andreas Backerud and Ken Block. I wonder if they'll split the strategy. Those guys are on used tyres. Row 3, Yanis Baumanis and Timosyanov, again teammates. Front left new for Yanis Baumanis. They're all going to have to react to what happens at the start. Here we go then, Timmy Hansen is firing himself up as he always does. They've been sitting on the grid for a little while. It is blazing hot here at Lydden Hill and the action is going to be the same. Watch for the lights up in the top right-hand corner, and we will be underway with semi-final one for round 5 of the FIA World Rallycross Championship. Oh, bad start for Belmanis at the back of the grid, but a brilliant start for Ken Block. Ken Block up the inside of Hansen. Hansen's heading down, it's backward, sorry, on the standard lap. Hansen goes into the Joker lap with Ken Block with him, so Block slots in behind. Hansen did well there. He looks like he's run a little bit deep on the way, and Belmanis is off the back of the pack, but it is Solberg leading from backward.
Solberg has been absolutely blistering this weekend, setting all the fastest lap times so far and beating the lap record.
I think the question mark, Tim, for everybody is these tyres. Who's managed to hold on to them? We think Kristoffersen's got a tidier start than Solberg, don't we? The Peugeot suddenly won Q4 when it wasn't quite there. And, of course, the Peugeots were suddenly on the pace in Mete in Belgium as well. So is that car kind to his tyres? And this is the first abrasive track we've been to.
It is. It's terribly abrasive. As he goes on the Joker lap on the first flying lap, does Solberg. That's a bit of a surprise to me.
So Solberg's gone in, and with him has gone Belmanis, I think, in the background. So Solberg comes out then. So still to Joker. We've got Backrud and Timosyanov at the front. So Solberg has responded to those guys behind. He's absolutely miles in front of them.
Remember, he took 3 new tyres, so he must have been doing a lot of tyre saving, because the one thing for sure, because he was almost guaranteed to get through to the final, is that he will want new tyres on the left-hand side at the least for the final.
Well, and it's interesting, isn't it? You know, we say the Peugeot won Q4. It's all very well saying that maybe their tyres were better, but as Solberg's saving a set, then Solberg's on shot tyres. So in fact, the Peugeot might not have had the tyre advantage, we think. That's what's hard to tell, the way these guys play the tactics.
Quite possibly, but remember, you don't need to set fast lap times now. It's just about positions. The top 3 in each semi go through the final, so he didn't need the tyres to set a time. He just needs to get through.
Solberg lost out to Ekstrom last year. Both of those guys think that it was because of tyre strategy at this extremely abrasive circuit. Solberg, look, he's on to the back of Timosyanov already. Timosyanov hasn't jokered. Look at that, the gap is just 1.1 seconds between them. I think it's less than that already. Backrud and the rest. So Timmy Hansen's 5.6 back from Backrud. What do you think, Tim? If he doesn't go soon, he's in danger of falling into that battle with Timmy and Ken. I wonder if he should go sooner rather than later, but they don't.
No, the Joker is worth about 4 seconds at the moment, and that's it.
Timosyanov with the tyres smoking, Solberg too. These guys are 100% throttle nearly all the way around this circuit. These conditions, the window's hanging out of Timosyanov's car. So the side window, the right side window is hanging out. He's lucky it's not dusted. Solberg now is desperately trying to get past. It won't matter because I think he's got this in the bag. Solberg having a look, Timosyanov smokes it up again. Petter's having a look up the inside of the Russian driver, but he can't get past.
This is what surprised me about Solberg taking that Joker lap so early. He was in the lead of the race. He could have stretched out his advantage. He's now put himself back in danger of some kind of issue with Timosyanov, who's a back marker and not going to get through.
Timosyanov is going to Joker on the last lap. Backrud has gone now, so Backrud slots out where? He comes out in front of Timmy Hansen, so Backrud's got good pace here. And at the minute then we're waiting for Timosyanov to take his Joker. Timmer is in the lead, but when he goes, who's going to go through behind him? I think it's going to be basically Solberg, Backrud, Hansen looking at the timesheets. Look at the window hanging out of that car. Solberg's just got 1 lap to go to book his place on the front row.
The window won't bother Timosyanov one bit, but Solberg's just got to follow him round. It's going to be Solberg, Backrud and Hansen at the moment, the top 3 through to the final.
Timosyanov super sideways as he crossed over the curbs. He goes into the Joker lap. You can see the tyres were smoking on the tarmac section. That is how much it's cleaned up here this weekend. It's been beltingly hot all weekend long. We had 1 very short rainstorm before pre-practice on Saturday. Since then, as I say, blazing sunshine, and Solberg has done a brilliant job here with the tyres strategy during the course of the day. There's Pernilla and Peresman up in the spotters tower looking down on Solberg.
Very much a racing driver's track at the moment, very little actual loose gravel, and the cars that are very well set up as racing cars, the Polo included, are flying here.
Solberg is flying, he's flying through to the front row of the final. There he goes over the line. Solberg takes semi-final number 1. Backrud and Hansen within 1.5 seconds of him. There's a lot of smoke from one of the cars as they went through that gravel section. You didn't see if it was tyre or something else. But semi-final 1 done and dusted. Or not dusted with the lack of gravel. There's Solberg waving to the crowd. He really wants this one. He wants to win the last race, the World Rallycross Championship at the legendary Lydden Hill circuit. Here's the result of semi-final number 1. Petter Solberg takes it from Andreas Backrud and Timmy Hansen. Ken Block, Timosyanov and Belmanis are out. Well, good job by Petter Solberg. Backerud right behind him. Who's got what for the final? We'll find out shortly.
Pernilla, the team have worked up for 4 rounds to get to this point, but now Petter seems to have switched on champion mode. It's incredible.
Yeah, I've never seen him like this. It's a long time. He's been so focused all weekend, and I'm really motivated.
The early joker was an interesting call there.
Yeah, we wanted to answer straight away, so we really knew we could answer back to whatever times they had in front and to be controlling the pace, if you like. So it worked really well.
Well, you're through to the final. Well done.
We are. Thanks.
All smiles there, and this is why. I mean, that was an absolutely brilliant job by Solberg. He really looked pretty untouchable, Tim.
Yeah, it shows from Pernilla's interview. They were worried about the pace of particularly Timmy Hansen, I think, so they thought, well, we've got away in the lead. Let's take the joker now. They were obviously worried they could go quicker, the others that had taken it first.
Yeah, so they're planning basically on going defensive on track, stop them from passing rather than trying to stop them with joker.
But he had the pace to win.
He did. I mean, he's absolutely flying. I think it's going to come down to whether Kristoffersen can beat him.
Well, don't forget, Solberg won here in 2015. He got beaten by Ekstrom last year in the final. He's desperate to strike back and score his first victory of the year and close that championship point score.
He would absolutely love to, wouldn't he, here? The British fans love him. They really took him into their hearts when he was in the WRC. I think he won his first World Rally here, as well as the World Rally Championship, and of course 2 World Rallycross titles to go with that. He'd love a third one, wouldn't he? Norwegian flags flying. They've got 2 drivers through to the final already in Solberg and Backerud. There's a chance we might get a Brit through if we're lucky. Crowd here enjoying the action. We're going to have a little look back at the start of semi-final 1. I think we've got an onboard with Timmy Hansen, so this will be interesting to see his moves off the start, Tim Harvey. Here we go.
Yeah, remember, he's on the inside. There goes Solberg. At this point, I thought he would go down the stand lap, but no, he decides to take the road on the joker, knowing he's going to be in front and try and set the fast lap time.
I thought he'd gone a bit deep. I mean, he was so early on the brakes in the joker.
Very cautious.
Yeah, that's
he didn't want to run wide, but maybe he lost a fraction of a second there. But he did that so he'd have this clear track in front of him to set fast lap times.
And then just push, push, push and see if you can make the overlap back up. Here's the run
Listen
up
how
the hill.
quiet that car sounds on from our audio. I can trust you. It doesn't sound anything like that. It sounds like mechanical mayhem in the car.
And it's boiling hot in there too. Here he comes down past us in the tank tool spotters tower on the left. The spotters can see the whole track from there. Great stuff. There's the Monster Energy rig. Well, Neil Cole has been rubbing shoulders with Hollywood stars, apparently, here at Lydden Hill. Idris Elba is here watching the World Rallycross Championship.
Idris Elba, it's great to see you here in Kent at Lydden Hill, not far away from home. What brings you here, and do you fancy a go in these cars?
Well, I just came for a little bit of fun, and I know Ken Block a little bit, so he invited me to come and see the races, and I've done a little bit myself, so I just thought I'd have a Sunday off. I don't fancy any today, but I'll be back.
It's great to see you here. Working on a film at the moment. What's the news?
I'm working on a film. I'm behind the camera this time. I'm directing, not in front of it, and I'm loving it, having a good time. Yeah.
Well, enjoy the racing. It should be a really good semi-finals and a final.
No, I'm super excited about it today. It should be a good final. Yeah, brilliant.
Great to see you here. Thanks, Idris.
Thanks. Cheers.
Well, Idris Elba, a big fan of motorsport. Of course, he did a rally, didn't he, an R2 car, I think. Struggled to listen to his co-driver. He was up on the roof of the rig right earlier with Ken Block. They were taking a few selfies with a huge crowd here. But yeah, great to see him here.
He's a big car nut.
Could have been in Monaco, but no, chose Lydden Hill. There you go.
Right choice, Idris. Right choice.
Exactly.
Yeah,
well done,
we know
Idris
what
Elba.
a big car nut he is.
Yeah, he loves it. Well, I hope we'll see him at some more Rallycross. It'd be great to see him in the car, either as a passenger or as a driver, but a pleasure to have him here. Thanks for joining us. Ericsson and Jordan pulling up to the line. Final preparations ahead is semi-final number 2. There's Toby Heikkinen. Made it through after issues, of course, yesterday. His engine let go during Q2, but he did manage to drag it round on, it sounded like 2 cylinders, to be honest. Heikkinen got it round to the finish with, but that made all the difference, and he made it through to the top 12, so we're seeing him in semi-2. Great stuff. Semi-final 2 on the line and ready to go. The drivers are bang up for this, and so are we. Let's see the lineup. on the front row. Johan Kristoffersen, who of course won last time out in Belgium with Matthias Ekström next to him. Those guys have gone for new tyres on opposite sides of the car, just one up front. Sebastian Loeb and Andrew Jordan making it through. He got a podium here 3 years ago. It's a big ask today, having not had much seat time, but the fans will love to see him up against these guys. Kevin Eriksson on the back row with Topi Heikkinen. So what can Andrew Jordan do from out there? I suspect a first lap joker from that position, but it is going to depend maybe. I mean, you're not going to be particularly worried about those guys in front of you, Ekström, Loeb and Kristoffersen, are you? Here we go, ready to race, semi-final number 2. Well, not the best start from Andrew Jordan. Eriksson's alongside him immediately, and it is Ekström. We go straight to the Joker, 4 cars into the Joker. That is not ideal, so Andrew Jordan is on the inside of Topi Heikkinen. He's right up behind Kevin Eriksson, but those guys are going to have to be hammered down now because there's only 2 people who've gone on the alternative. But I think the guys at the rear didn't really have any choice, Tim.
No, it was a slightly slow reaction time from Andy Jordan, but he used a bit of touring car muscle to keep it up on the inside of the Joker. But you're right, not ideal for 4 of them to have taken it on the first lap, but Kristoffersen and Loeb are away.
Here comes Kristoffersen down the hill now. Ekström will see them. We'll have a mental idea when each time he comes around this corner, and you've got this lovely long straight to gauge just how close you are, as well, of course, as his spotters. Look at Eriksson. Andrew Jordan now's got a tricky situation. If he wants to make it through to the final, he's going to need to be P3, and at the minute, in front of him is Kevin and Matthias, so he'd have to pass definitely one of them, and that's his teammate. If he passes him off, you're not going to get asked back, are you?
No, but I cannot say enough good about the performance of Andy Jordan to have stepped into this car completely unknown this morning at World Championship level to qualify for the semi-finals against the factory cars. A brilliant effort.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. He loved it. He went top of the timesheets, didn't he, in damp conditions, straight up to top after one run. It was like, OK, he hasn't lost it. So it's been nearly a couple of years. He did Italy, of course, with EKS, but the car let him down. So well done, Andrew. Out front, though, Kristoffersen, what's the lap times like? 40.5, 40.2.
Very quick.
Yeah. We need to compare his time to Solberg. So Solberg did a 40.0 as his best, so Kristoffersen's not far off. We ride on board with Eriksson.
This is a great on-board coming down Devil's Elbow. Look, just the slightest tug on the handbrake to rotate the car, then back on the power, pulling gears. Look how little steering he has to do once the car's rotated. And that means all 4 wheels are driving the car forward.
Eriksson almost with the wheel hooked over the grass on the inside.
Let's see if we stay on board down into Paddock Bend. Oh, sadly not.
It's so fast through there. It is so fast to brake. Kristoffersen pops up over the curbs. Him and Loeb, I think, going to go right through with this. The Ekström, though, Ekström's gone up to +5. He was +4.6 just a moment ago, so this is close. This is closer than we think.
Yeah, 5 seconds, remember the gap, and about 5 seconds, 4.5, the total time lost over the lap. So I think he's not going to quite do it, Ekström.
No, and Kristoffersen's done more now. So the second sector on the lap, he's gone up to 5.2. So the team would have been watching that. When it was 4.6, they'll have been nervous and thinking about jokering. Now he's gapped it. I think they'll keep him out there right until the final lap. So let's see what they do at the end of this one. Kristoffersen tidy into Paddock Bend. Oh, Ekström sends it. That car sounds fantastic from here. I hope it sounds that fantastic at home. There was Eriksson through that huge hole, Tim.
Yeah, it's really dug out badly.
Kristoffersen has gone Joker, so Kristoffersen's gone Joker and comes out in front of Ekström. So he's gone Joker with a lap to go. Where is Sebastian Loeb going to come out? So Sebastian Loeb leading now, but still has to Joker. Loeb's got to get out in front of Eriksson. Andrew Jordan and Heikkinen, I think, are a little way too far off the back to be a threat. So Eriksson's 6.2 off the leader. In theory, Loeb should have this down as long as he doesn't make a mistake. Here he comes.
Yeah, and that's easier said than done going into this Joker. Remember, the Joker lap, they only do it once every race. So it's not something they're quite as familiar with. It's not a particularly tricky Joker. In on the tarmac, let the car run wide, slow it down, rotate it, fire it out straight. That was neat.
That was neat. In fact, he's almost up with Ekström as they run down towards Devil's Elbow. Sebastian Loeb's going to have a look up the inside of the world champion. Loeb in the Belgium is going to try and outbrake him. Ekström puts a wheel on the grass on the inside. Ekström's going to run wide in Devil's Elbow. Loeb passes him. Loeb's up the inside now. Ekström's going to get more grip as they run up towards the hairpin. Ekström on the outside. Loeb goes defensive. Loeb has done a lovely job there. Ekström with a wheel on the grass. He's going to have a look up the inside again as they come down towards Paddock Bend, and that's going to dump him down a row in the final. He will not like that. Kristoffersen is out front and clear, but brilliant job by Sebastian Loeb. takes the flag. Here comes Loeb in P2 to go through to row 2. And last year's winner and the world champion Ekstrom will go through at the back of the final. Just at the end of the race there, great stuff.
Was it. That was fabulous. Almost a rookie mistake for Matthias Ekstrom, who is a racing driver, but he was so keen to defend coming off the loose there that he went wide on the approach to Devil's Elbow and outbraked himself.
Kristoffersen takes it, and with it 6 championship points. Loeb and Ekstrom will make it through to the final. Kevin Eriksson, Andrew Jordan and Topi Heikkinen are done for this weekend. Yeah, great stuff. So Ekstrom loose on the brakes. Hopefully we'll get a look at some of that in this replay. So Kristoffersen, this was so Heikkinen had absolutely zero choice because he was outside.
Yeah, and then he gets hung out to dry by Andy Jordan stuffing it up the inside. So and that was Heikkinen's race finished at that point.
Look how quickly they're trying to get it across to the other side there. You can see to try and find the traction. Ekstrom leading from these guys. Ekstrom, just managed to gap them just that little bit, didn't he? Which meant that he was the one who was going to go through. And we really thought he was going to have enough to get past Loeb, but Kristoffersen out front just extended that lead on each lap. There's the onboard. Look at that.
That's the bumpy section. Very difficult. And you can see how unsighted you are with the dust. Now, this is Kristoffersen coming back on after completing his Joker successfully.
And this is the bit that we want to see. So Sebastian Loeb, look at that, tyres smoking, just holds onto the car, 5th gear as it comes back to you there from a massive moment.
Now watch Eriksson, he got across onto the grass on the left, that flicked him back to the right and wide, and Loeb straight up the inside.
Really nicely done. Ekstrom did well too, didn't he? Because he stayed lit on the throttle there and managed to undercut Loeb on the exit, but just didn't quite have enough pace, having gone deep on the previous corner. But Kristoffersen, who takes it, great job. He's on the front row with Petter. I think it's going to be one of them for the win here at Lydden Hill. And Niels with Johan now.
Johan, the tyres have come off the car and they are absolutely smoking, but that was a great semi-final win.
Yeah, definitely. Perfect semi-finals for the teams. I mean, both me and Petter now on the front row, so yeah, we'll see, but the car feels good. And yeah, the track is really tough for the tyres, so I tried to save a little bit now in the end. So yeah, we will see, but of course the team would like to have both on the podium, and we will try our best.
But you'd rather be on the top step of the podium yourself?
Of course, but Petter has been driving brilliantly all weekend, but I will give him a fight.
Great job, Johan.
Thank you.
Johan Kristoffersen heading through to the final. Can't wait to see him versus Solberg. Are they going to split the strategy on lap 1, or are they going to race it out all the way through? We will see soon enough. Two races still to come. We've got the RX2 final coming up, and we can see some of the action from the semi-finals, which happened earlier on today. RX2, of course, rebranded RX Lights. The man on the front row, Cyril Raymond, pole position. He was top qualifier here, having won all 4 of the qualifying sessions, ahead of Dan Rook, who we'll see in a moment, who's in semi-final number 2. Raymond out front. See, really pushing hard, ended up running wide. Huge moments over the curbs. These cars him about 3/4 the size of a supercar, not quite able to deal with some of those big bumps quite so much, but somebody who was able to deal with the competition was Cyril Raymond.
Yeah, but still 4-wheel drive and still a beast to drive. But yes, they do have to be a bit more mindful of the curbs and the bumps.
You can see it there, that big bump in Paddock Bend. This was Raymond taking the Joker lap, coming back in front of everybody else through to the semi-final, through to the final, sorry, on the front row. And he, of course, will be going up against the home hero. There's the checkered flag for the Frenchman. Don't forget as well, the reigning RX Lights champion and racing in GRC this year as well. On the front row here, Tanner Witten with Dan Rook. Dan Rook in the black car on the inside, Witten going to the Joker lap. Those two guys were P2 and P3 in Belgium. Dan Rook finished second in each of the qualifying sessions here. He is the reigning British Rallycross champion in Supercar. taking a step sideways to the RX2 category. This, of course, is arguably higher profile and I think certainly higher competition.
Yeah, this was a great race for the home fans. Dan Rook with a lot of support, had the crowd really, really cheering, and this was a great semi-final. He's been second in the qualifying races to Cyril Raymond all the way through, but he was determined to win this semi-final.
That's him popping it up over the curbs. He's raced here 5 times previously. Only once did he not win. That was last year in RX Lights. What can he do this time round in RX2? Him and Raymond currently equal on points in the championship, 25 each, despite Raymond winning last time. This was the joker lap for Rook, with the rest of the field bearing down on him.
And bearing down on him, they were. Look how close it was when he rejoined. Slight bit of bumper damage on the back there, just pushing on the tyre, but Dan was able to bring it home.
There we go, good job by Dan Rook and Cyril Raymond winning those 2 semi-finals, and we'll see them on the front row for the final. RX2 2017 Championship continues here in the UK. The first round was last weekend in Belgium, 2 weeks ago. Here's the lineup. Cyril Raymond and Dan Rook on the front row. They won their semi-finals. Raymond out-qualified Rook, but they came here equal on points. Row 2, Guillaume de Ridder and Thomas Holman. In row 3, Sondre Evjen and Simon Olofsson. For me, this is all about Rook and Raymond. To be fair, Raymond was further ahead when he crossed the line in his semi-finals, so I think he has the edge in terms of pace. Have the best weekend last weekend racing in GRC, rolled it. Dan Rook running for Team Fahren, Eric Fahren's team running this RX2 car. Fahren, of course, Sebastian Loeb's spotter. Good start by both of them. Where's Rook going to go? He's going to race it out with Raymond. I'm really surprised about that. Slots into P2. Tim Harvey, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, maybe he thinks that Raymond is just that touch quicker and it's better to follow him for a few laps rather than go into the joker and end up back in the pack, which it could have been, and that could have cost him a potential second place.
They would have had a long discussion about this, won't they? I know we all say about getting to the first corner and all the rest of it. These cars are still very fast, don't be fooled, you know, it's 300 odd horsepower, but they have got a little bit longer to think about these things than a supercar driver, where it happens spectacularly fast into turn 1. So they'll have made a plan. I don't, you know, looking at that, to me, he was always going standard lap.
Yeah, it looked like he was heading in that direction all the way through. It was never in his mind, I don't think, and I think it's the right decision for Dan.
So jokering so far, Holman and Olofsson. De Ridder is P3. Have to watch out for that barrier on the inside there. De Ridder was worryingly close to it on that last lap. Rook familiar with the circuit, of course, from the supercar, but has admitted openly that these are much harder to drive than the supercar. It doesn't mean harder, of course, it's just that you can't afford to make a mistake in an RX2 car.
This is all about momentum. If you kill the momentum in the corner or by getting the car too sideways, it just kills the lap time. They have to keep these things going forward. So controlled aggression, not too sideways, is perfect for these. You watch these cars go in and they look really well sorted.
There's Holman.
Of course, 6 cars in the final. Had Dan Rook taken that joker first lap and dropped back, there are 5 other cars there that he's involved with.
Trying to look at the lap times of those slightly. It's pretty even, to be fair, but yes, if he'd ended up back behind or in amongst those 2 at the rear, but Raymond is definitely just slightly gapping him here.
Which is what we've seen all weekend. These 2 have been the class of the field, but of that class, Cyril Raymond's just had that fraction more speed.
And he has had a lot more seat time than Rook, hasn't he? I mean, yeah, as the champion last year for RX Lights, although this championship has been rebranded as RX2, you know, don't forget Raymond is racing in GRC as well this year. It's just seat time. And Tim, you know, having raced as much as you have yourself, you know how important that time behind the wheel is.
Yeah, very much so, but let's not decry the efforts of Dan Rook. He's doing a really, really good job. So just Holman and Olofsson have jokered so far, the others waiting to the end of the race. Look at the suspension movement, they go over the bumps there. All these cars obviously identical. There is some setup available changes that they can make, geometric angles and things like that, but basically the same.
You wonder, don't you, maybe Raymond has just got it dialed a little bit more for his driving style, having spent a bit more time in it, that he would just have a slightly better feel for the way the car is.
And that's how it looks. You know, you can see Dan trying everything that he can.
Oh, Raymond hits that bump. Look at the deflection there. We saw yesterday one of the RX2 cars took a wheel off. That is exactly the line you do not want to be on into the choke lap. I think it's de Ridder's gone in.
And we've seen 2 of the RX2 cars with front suspension collapsed, actually, this weekend. So maybe Dan was hoping that might work for him.
De Ridder's come out behind Holman. So Holman has managed to get past the car that was in P3. So Holman looking good. Evshan is in the gap in between the leading pack and the second pack. So if you're Rook now, do you take a chance and just joker on the second lap, or is he better just sitting in the mirrors and applying that pressure right the way through to the flag?
I think he should apply the pressure and hope that Cyril Raymond has a problem. He's testing the limits of his suspension here. He's going joker on this lap, so is Rook.
So Rook does follow him right the way in. Last lap, of course, so they both have to. It's my bad for looking at the screen and seeing 5 out of 6, thinking they had one more to go, and that's what happens when you have a first corner joker. It's going to be close. I think Rook's going to hold on to P2. Does indeed. Closer behind Holman was than I thought. Raymond's taking risks at the bottom of the hill, definitely at Paddock Bend there, particularly with that bump. Is that the difference maybe in the pace? You know,
it's a little. I think it's a little bit everywhere. But interestingly, the supercar drivers came out and had a look at the circuit, and they found a little bit of a smoother line on the inside. But Raymond is still taking what was the fast line before, but now ends up with a bigger bump on the exit. But it's not going to worry him now. He's managed it all the way through, and he's going to take the win in the final.
Cyril Raymond takes it from Dan Rook. P3 goes to Holman. Holman was a fair way down the field in Belgium, 5th in the semi-final.
And he'll take the outright championship lead with that.
He will indeed. 1 point, of course, wasn't it, ahead of, well, he came here even, 1 point from qualifying. There we go, he gets an extra 3 points on Dan Rook here. Dan, unfortunately, just couldn't do the home win. Fans enjoyed it anyway. There'll be plenty here who are familiar with him. Then Holman, de Ridder, Evshan and Olofsson. Good collection of national flags there. Great to see the RX2 Championship taking off. Here's another look at the race. So Rook, look, moving straight across. No doubt about where he was going.
No, he was lucky to slot into that second place, though, wasn't he? Could have found that gap filled with another car.
De Ridder went with them for a while, but Holman, who jokered on the first lap, I think that was actually pretty good tactics there, managing to come up to the podium position. There was that big bump. We saw Raymond hit that very hard a couple of times. I think these two guys will go head-to-head for the rest of the year. We know Dan Rook could do with some funding to make it to the 2 flyaway events. Remember, RX2 this year, he's going to Canada and to South Africa, and I think that's really important for these young drivers, Tim, because it's a huge change. These are kids, some of these. I'll say kids, you know.
I see them in the paddock. I don't think they're old enough to drive, some of them.
I'm sure
they need the international experience.
They do.
The whole circus, moving abroad, different environment.
Yeah, it's things to deal with, isn't it? Here was Raymond, look, over that bump, they've been taking the risks on, but, you know, it was a calculated risk. He got it right. Here are the standings. After round 2 of RX2 2017, Cyril Raymond now leading by 4 points from Dan Rook. Simon Olofsson is 3rd, Guillaume de Ridder in 4th place, and Glenn Haug in 5th, Tanner Witten 6th. We have 6 different nationalities in the top 6 in RX2, and I think that is proof that this championship is a great proving ground if you want to make your way up to World RX. Talking of Wicks, Neil Cole is with Matthias Ekstrom, our current World Rallycross champion.
So, Matthias, you're about to jump in the car for the final here at Lydden Hill. How's it been going this weekend? Because it's not been that smooth, has it?
We've been racing all the way, and in the semi I had a good race with Sebastian. Unfortunately, this time I came out short, and he was a little bit better, but we are fighting everything we can, and let's see in the final. I think it can... So far, the racing has been pretty boring. I think it's just exceptional for some great racing, but I hope that the final gets more exciting and we can make something happen.
Have you saved some tyres for the final?
I think you can make a green dot on the front left.
Thank you very much. That's a note for the commentators. Green dot on the front left.
Graphics, make a note of that, please. We'd like a green tyre
Yes.
on the front left of it. They're not
But
normally
only
that
one.
honest.
Only one he's intimating.
Well,
Only
and
one.
Solberg's got 3. There's no way Solberg's got any more than that, because we know he used
Yes.
1 in Q4.
On the right front, which was also repeated by Kristoffersson in the semi-final. He used the new
Interesting.
one on the right front, which now will probably go to the left rear as the freshest of the newest tyres.
So
but we'll see.
It's getting complicated, isn't it?
I'm
It's getting
assuming
complicated.
that one used on the right front will go to the left rear and they'll have a new for the left front.
Niels with Backerud.
Andreas Backerud, 3rd position, going to the final, doing up your suit, getting ready. Let's have a look at the tyres. Talk us through the situation.
They are slim fit, brand new. No, I don't know. No, it's. I think we have done well with the tires. We have been tried to be clever because, yeah, somewhere we need to beat the rest. So, I feel we are the best of the rest now. It's up to us now if we can challenge the 2 boys up front.
Yeah, because they could fight amongst themselves, and the pressure has been on from you all this weekend.
Yeah, we have been right back there. Couple of tenths off from the lap times they have, but I think hopefully we can come a bit closer now and give them a fight for the run.
Well, we know how much it means to you to race at Lydden, so enjoy it.
I will. Last time, damn it, I'm gonna go flat out. If I see a gap, I go for it. I promise.
Good luck. Thank you.
Good, that's what we want to hear. I'm sure it's not what the other drivers want to hear, maybe. If I see a gap, I go for it. Love it. I hope the others are listening to him.
A little bit of a hope there, and maybe forlorn, but hope that his tyres are slightly better than the Polos, because he obviously feels they've got the pace on him, and that's the only way he might beat them.
I think it's Kristoffersson versus Solberg. It might be who's managed their tyres better. Niels with Sebastian Loeb.
Sebastian, final preparations being made to your car. It was a great fight with Matthias, and you won it, which looks good for the final.
Yeah, just have a little problem also, so I hope we will be able to finish the final. We will see, but it was a great semi. I pushed really hard. We ended very close with Matthias at the end, exit of the Joker, and finally I could pass him, so it was good. I did my best. The Volkswagen are flying in front. We cannot fight with them, so yeah, we will see. I will push hard again.
Okay, I hope it makes it. Thank you.
Loeb also wanting to see if he can catch up with the VWs, but I think kind of hinting at our thoughts, Tim, that this is going to be Johan versus Petter. But, you know, having said that, they had problems at the first couple of events this year. You know, we had a stall for Johan, didn't we, on the grid at one of them? There's the Monster Energy Supercharge Award, which is now a reaction time award. So whoever hits the jump start sensor the fastest.
And it is the trophy, not the young lady.
Look at that. That's a proper trophy, isn't it? When we unveiled it in Barcelona, there were some gasps. But yeah, good fun. You know, Monster always come up with a good trophy.
It's great to have a reaction time trophy, isn't it? It's what this sport's all about, reactions.
Well, it is, isn't it? I mean, it's only possibly drag racing where a reaction time, I think, is more important. But, I mean, obviously in the semi-finals and the finals, a staggered grid, you've got breathing space. I'm talking hundredths of breathing space. When they start 5 in a line, we said this earlier today, what a brilliant spectacle it is. You know, these cars go straight down to turn
inches
1.
apart, 0 to 60 in under 3 seconds. It's quite staggering. Quicker to 60 miles an hour than a Formula 1 car. But I'm concerned about Loeb. He said he had a problem at the end of the semi-final. He hopes they fix it.
Kenneth, such a big event, 50 years of Rallycross, you've been involved in a significant amount of that. You've got 2 cars in the final. Can you just tell us what is wrong with Sebastian's car, do you know?
I had a water leak because we had a fan problem and it destroyed the water cooler, so they tried to fix it. We'll see. We have great mechanics, so I hope they manage it. And of course, it's 30 years since I raced here myself the first time, so it's a big moment, of course, 50 years after the first start.
It's incredible, and of course you are a European Rally Championship legend. Timmy Hansen's been in a bit of the wars, your son. What does he have to do in this to kind of keep it clean and make sure no one tries to exact revenge?
He's going for it, you know. He's always, if it's a gap, he go for it. And he is hard on the track, but he is fair also. So we will see how we can manage into the first corner, and then we go from there.
He gets himself pumped up in the driver's seat. Good luck, thank you.
Well, if Loeb is carrying radiator damage, as Kenneth suggests, that would suggest that maybe one of the fans has disintegrated and possibly hold the radiator. Looking at how long they had to fix it, Loeb was in semi-final too. It's barely any time at all. So
the trouble is these races are 6 laps now, and these cars generate a lot of temperature with the turbos and everything else. So if he's got any kind of cooling problem, it could be really difficult for him to finish the 6 laps. And he's obviously aware of that.
Well, he's in there, isn't he? Even if he doesn't finish, he'll get the 1 point, and of course that's better than retiring now pre the race.
And he's already put 120 degrees into the water there, just doing his standing.
He probably has, hasn't he? Yeah. Timmy Hansen being called forward. There you can see a really clear view of the jump start sensor down at the bottom, and the pole there which the marshals used to line them all up exactly, fairly. Ekstrom, can he win from the back of the grid? Be a big ask, wouldn't it? Can Kristoffersen win from the front of the grid? Neil's with his dad, Tommy.
Tommy, just a quick word before they go off the start line. What would it mean to you and Johan to get a win here today? What does it mean?
No, for sure that will be great, but we play the team play now and we continue to do that. So we have a first position now in both cars, so it's a great possibility. So we just try to do everything right and hope for the best.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
Kristoffersen up there on the front row. Car's being clunked into gear. Timmy Hansen. He's ready to go, isn't he? He is ready to go. And he hasn't got long to wait. Here is the lineup for round 5 of the FIA World Rallycross Championship from Lydden Hill in the UK. Petter Solberg and his teammate Johan Kristoffersen on the front row. Is Johan going to get a second win? Can Petter get his first this season? Andreas Backerud and Sebastian Loeb, they're both hoping that they've held on to better tyres than the VWs in front. Bringing up the rear, Timmy Hansen and Matthias Ekstrom. Here we go then, Solberg versus Kristoffersen, teammate versus teammate. Are they going to come together? Would it be the start of a wall going up in the garage if they do? Are they going to be sensible? Are we going to see a split strategy of the first lap? I wouldn't mind betting that we do, but it's going to depend who hooks it up off the line. Ready to race, revs are up. Backward got a great start too. Ekstrom moves across and covers off Hansen, but straight into the joke lap goes Kristoffersen, and Sebastian Loeb goes with him, while Solberg is leading from compatriot Backward. Not the best of joke laps there for Kristoffersen. Didn't quite hook the nose up, but we're talking tiny margins.
Oh, absolutely. They split their strategy, but how badly does Solberg want to win here? The last possible meeting for a while at Lydden on the 50th anniversary. He hasn't won a race yet this year. He saw his teammate win 2 weeks ago in Belgium. He wants this one badly, and he's been flying all weekend.
He has been flying all weekend. We know he put 3 new boots on this car in the semi-finals, so they're only 1 run old. Whereas we know Kristoffersen only had 1 new tyre on, so his possibly slightly more warm. But Kristoffersen has just come past us, absolutely fully lit. The chase is on. Ekstrom wins the Monster Energy Supercharge Award, and Solberg's gone straight to the Joker lap to cover off Kristoffersen and comes out in front.
With a good lead, and that was a good spot by his spotter, because if he'd left Kristoffersen with free road, he might have closed that gap up, so that was a very good move.
Very, very clever indeed. Backward, Ekstrom and Hansen now fighting out. Look in the background. None of these guys have jokered, and Solberg is already catching up to the rhythm. He's only 2.6 behind, and the gap of the Joker is 5, we think.
Ekstrom's got his windscreen wipers on. It's not because it's raining, it's because his hands are twirling madly behind the wheel.
It is indeed. And into the Joker lap, there goes Timmy Hansen. So Timmy's gone in. He'll be hoping he can come out P3 behind the 2 VWs, but on the inside is his teammate Sebastian Loeb. This one's going to be close. Loeb was sideways on the way, and Timmy Hansen's got the line on the way down to Devil's Elbow, but he couldn't find the traction. Loeb was there on the piece of track that he wanted, which had the grip, but he couldn't get across to it.
If it wasn't his teammate, he might have closed the door a bit more savagely, but he was left out to dry, and Loeb was through.
Hansen, oh my goodness me, half spin for Hansen.
Has he got a puncture maybe on the left rear?
Yeah.
Is that a problem?
Maybe, yes, it is. Good spot, Tim. I did think that was unusual for Timmy. Like, he wouldn't use the handbrake that hard. Looked like a little nip on it, and of course it bit him hard. So Timmy Hansen is out of the back door. I don't think he'll be getting a podium, and Loeb was looking on for it anyway. So it's about whether Backward or Ekstrom has got enough to get back out in front of Sebastian Loeb, really, because Solberg and Kristoffersen are odds on for P1 and P2.
Second final in a row that Hansen's had a puncture. Remember, he lost the win at Mete 2 weeks ago because of a puncture.
Gutting as well, because I think he was on for that. Backward now backs the focus in, and that's really sideways, and probably not the quickest way. He's driving just as hard as he can. These tyres, Tim, they're crying enough.
They are. But the first two in your picture, Backrud and Ekstrom, still have to joker. And look, Solberg is already right behind them, with Christian Stustofsson not far behind. They're going to take 1-2.
Ekstrom goes in the joker. He won't have liked seeing Solberg there, having known his joker to see him that far behind. That's how far Solberg was behind him last time. Ekstrom comes out of the joker lap. Now Sebastian Loeb has managed to get in front of him, so Ekstrom couldn't quite get it done. Is he going to try and make a pass again to Ekstrom? This time it's Loeb who's on the defensive, and Ekstrom comes in, puts one wheel on the grass on the inside. He's going to try and put the Audi up the inside, but Sebastian Loeb's done enough touring car racing to say no, thank you. I'll block that. Oh, and he backs it in. Really sideways on the way in. They're really sideways on the hairpin, way more than we've seen all weekend.
Yeah, oh, look at it down the hill, leaving black lines.
Absolutely fantastic. Look at that, the rear right smoking on all these cars. We often see it from the VWs, but rarely from the others. Backrud into the joker lap, and I think he's going to come out. He's going to try and come out in front of Sebastian Loeb. Backrud wants to hold on for P3, doesn't. Loeb is denied on the last lap as Backrud manages to come out for the final spot on the podium. Good job by him.
Excellent job by Backrud and the Hoonigan Racing team to get that car there. But absolutely no mistakes from Solberg this weekend. He has been the class of field.
There's Pernilla, his wife, waving out of the side of the spotters tower. Solberg has done the perfect job this weekend. Everyone thinks he's hard on tyres, but he managed to take 3 to the semi-finals. He has smashed it at Lydden Hill. Solberg wins the last ever World Rallycross Championship race at Lydden Hill. That's what it means to the team, because Kristoffersson has crossed the line in P2 and Backrud makes it through in P3. Brilliant drive by Solberg. Ekstrom, look, the rear had disintegrated, and that's why he was so sideways.
Yeah, no, not his fault at all. He just can't buy any luck. And poor Timmy Hansen. Solberg's so popular in the UK, World Rally Champion with Subaru in the Pro Drive Run car. The fans love him.
He's done well, hasn't he? He's done this weekend. He's brilliant, because I really thought Kristoffersson, if it came down to tyre wear, I thought Kristoffersson would edge him, but Solberg's managed to do it. Look at that. Yes, patting the VW Polo GTI supercar on the roof. 2 wins in a row for PSRX Volkswagen Sweden. There's Kristoffersson as well out the side of the car, showing appreciation to the British fans. Here's Timmy Hansen crossing the line. Goodness me, a long way back, but he made it. He'd be disappointed, but he would have known that he was back with Loeb anyway. I mean, he might have, well, him and Ekstrom would have been close, but great to see them appreciating the crowd here. You know, we're a little bit biased, but British fans, they really love motorsport. They're really proper technical fans too, Tim, and it's great to see the drivers hanging out at the side of the cars and showing some love to the Lydden Hill crowd. Well done, Lydden Hill, you've been amazing. Neil Cole is with Pernilla Solberg.
Pernilla, it's been a while since we've seen Petter out of the side of the car celebrating like that, and you celebrating up here. See how much it means to you.
You know, we haven't, I don't think he has won. Well, he hasn't won since Portugal last year, so it's been forever, 400 days something. So it means so much. And for Petter, because he's been really close in many events, he's got pole position, he's sort of had it in his hand before, but to nail it here, nail it in Lydden, in front of all this amazing audience, it's just so fun. Really, really good fun.
Well done, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Petter into the donuts in front of the crowd at Lydden Hill. Go on, Petter. That's how we celebrate, on the grass as well. Huge Norwegian flag up in the grandstand. He's done it. Solberg takes the win from Kristoffersson and Andreas Backrud. Sebastian Loeb 4th, Ekstrom and Hansen with punctures in 5th and 6th. I think a good way to sign off World Rallycross from Lydden Hill. Here's a look at the start. I think this must be on board with Timmy Hansen. It is, and he didn't hook it up as well as Ekstrom. Ekstrom managed to get in front of him.
Yeah, so he dives into the inside, and look how dry it is there. All 4 of them running together.
Barely any dust, and these guys with good visibility. I like to see a bit more gravel, I'm not going to lie. I think it makes a big difference between application of throttle and maybe getting a bit too deep on the brakes. You make a mistake on gravel, you pay for it. On tyre, you can maybe make it up a bit quicker.
I agree. That was Solberg rejoining from his joker in front of teammate Kristoffersson.
Sideways through that bottom corner. There were the 2 VWs. They started to look a bit unstoppable. This was on board with Timmy, and I think that would have been quite a big surprise to him. He maybe didn't realise the tyre had gone down because the previous corner, a left-hander.
Yeah, he might have felt a bit of it as he came off the joker. Remember, he got out-dragged there. May have started to feel it there.
This was Ekstrom. Had he had his deflation already? So Ekstrom and Hansen look up to the top corner, and Ekstrom then, we saw him sideways out of here, didn't we? It looks like it was it the rear right? It's only 5 minutes ago and I can't even remember, but there you go, sideways anyway. It's Solberg though who did the brilliant job of taking the checker flag. His first win since Portugal last year. Backward and Kristoffersen congratulating each other. They'd both like to be on the top step of the podium, but any step will do.
Well done. So where are we going?
Where are we going, says Backward. That's because they've moved.
Where's
the
podium?
The podium is the other way. I know where it is. It's up by Dirt 4. So the podium is the other side there. You can see Dirt 4, the official game of the World Rallycross Championship, in the background, and the podium's round there. But Backward's looking for it down in the paddock because, of course, he stood on the top step of it before, and he will be disappointed that he couldn't do it. And you know, these guys, so will Ekstrom. But
Ekstrom's going to wonder where his early form from the season has gone. Won the first 3 races dominantly and hasn't won since. I love the Pernilla quote about Solberg. They've been counting the days since his last win. That's how serious that team is. A day goes by without a win, they don't like it.
I remember once he said he wouldn't cut his hair until he'd won a World Rally, and it got to the point where his hair was ridiculously too long and he had to cut it. So I'm glad he didn't make any daft bets here. Some of the IMG teams sending the guys up towards the podium. Oh, there's Oliver. That's lovely. It's lovely. Look at that. Big hug for Dad. Oliver's racing next weekend. I saw him earlier on today. He's racing next weekend in Petter's old DS3 up in Nordic Rallycross. There we are, look. Greeting the guys from the team. There's Cuddy, some of the other engineers as well. Johan Kristoffersen. Here's the last lap from the final. So backward into the Joker. Backward really had quite an uneventful race, Tim, and ends up with P3. It was a fair distance in front of Loeb.
He was, and that's a credit in itself. A very, very good weekend for Backerud.
Solberg, though, untouchable. And look how far ahead of Kristoffersen he was. I wonder what Johan will think, whether he'd be bothered by this or not. I know that this will be a huge pressure relief for Petter Solberg, because Kristoffersen's edged him on pace everywhere so far this year. Only a tiny bit.
But remember, this is the first year for a while that Petter hasn't been in his Citroën DS3. He's changed to the car. It requires a slightly different driving style, but he's really got on top of it this weekend. Not just once or twice. He's dominated. He has the fastest new lap record. In each of the qualifying races, he was quickest, and that's quite emphatic.
Yeah, job done. Job done, big smile. He means it. He really means it.
And as you say, he's looked after his tyres at a very aggressive circuit, and that was the one thing people used to accuse him of perhaps being a weakness.
I didn't think he was. I really didn't think he was looking after it. You know, I really thought when we were watching him backing it in down into Paddock Bend and Kristoffersen behind, I thought Kristoffersen was saving the tyres better, but he obviously wasn't, because Solberg had him in the final. Neil Cole is with Andreas Backrud, who finished third place here in the Ford Focus RS RX. He'll be pleased with that. I'm sure he'd have loved to have beaten Solberg and Kristoffersen.
There's Andreas Backrud congratulating Petter Solberg. Andreas, podium, third place. Considering the pace of the Volkswagens, you have to be pleased with that.
Yeah, I'm very pleased. I feel like this weekend I was the best of the rest. Together with the team, we did a great job with keeping the tires stable, and I think James Gilbert from Monster Energy is super happy with all the 3 monsters on top of the podium. So, yeah, big smile on everybody's face. I think we did a great job, the whole team. It was a big effort coming back from Hockenheim and Belgium, proving that we are quick.
Well done, and here as well. Well done, thank you.
Thank you. It's great to be back in Lydden Hill. Awesome, awesome.
Thank you.
Backrud saying best of the rest. Is that going to be the case for the rest of the year? Johan Kristoffersen leads the World Rallycross Championship after round 5. Matthias Ekstrom is in P2, Solberg P3, then Timmy Hansen, Sebastian Loeb, Andreas Backrud and Ken Block are your top 7. But yes, Kristoffersen has moved up from second by 3 points to first by 4 points. Fantastic job, Johan Kristoffersen. I think he's about to get told as well. Not sure he's aware yet. But Neil Cole's with Johan, the new leader of the World Rallycross Championship.
Johan Kristoffersen, classic racing drivers, trying to work out the points. I can tell you you're leading the championship by 4 points now, despite coming second to your teammate. Must feel good.
Yeah, very good. Fantastic weekend for the team. It's really a team effort. This result is really for the guys. They have been working so really hard, and you can see now I got a victory last time and I was really happy, but now it's something special. Both of us have won, and now it was P1, P2. I mean, it's just fantastic. And the final was really, semi-final, I was really trying to take care of the tires, and then in the final I went straight to the Joker, and then Peter went in the second lap, and we was just trying to managing the tires and don't get any punches because the track was really rough before the last 2 corners.
Well done, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Kristoffersen as cool as ever. Wow, okay, here are the standings for the teams. PSRX Volkswagen Sweden absolutely nailing it. They have a 70-point lead after 5 rounds. Team Peugeot, Hansen a second, EKS third. Those guys very close together. Hooligan Racing Division, MJP Racing Team Austria, and Team Stard. Neil Cole is with the happiest man at Lydden Hill probably ever. The winner, Petter Solberg.
Congratulations, Petter. A win here in Lydden Hill. It must feel pretty good.
This is so awesome. Honestly, you know, I've been dreaming about this, winning in Lydden Hill here the last year, 50 years of Rallycross here, and that feeling, I can't describe it, you know. It's also quite a long time ago since I've been won a race, and this is fantastic. You know, the car works so well, and with all this audience here, all the people who's come here to look at the race, it's just great.
But there's a lot of emotion here. You applied yourself with emotion. How do you then replicate in circuits where you don't have such an attachment to the circuit?
I don't know, you know, the thing is I'm a sensitive feeling person, you know, and been working very hard with the team, and I think this atmosphere we have in the team is hard to beat, and with all the spectators, the support, you know, I think the combination, and with a fantastic track, you know, everything just comes together. So, and even sunshine, you know, this is incredible. So, well, very, very, very proud, and very proud of Johan and the team and everybody. You know, we are so committed.
Well done, congratulations.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Well done, Petter. Norwegian fans travelling to Lydden Hill. Here's Solberg with his celebratory tone. Look at that. Look at the crowd. The kids on shoulders with their arms in the air. They know when they're witnessing something cool. Donuts are cool.
Donuts are cool. They're like wheelies on motorbikes. And yes. I'll tell you what, if you're Petter Solberg, you don't forget how to do them, do you?
No, no. That's a wheelie on a very steep hill as well, you know. That's not as easy as a wheelie. Oh, sorry, a donut, a wheelie. I'd love to see him do a wheelie. But yeah, donut on a very steep hill.
I needed this victory. I
needed this victory. Brilliant. His teammate Johan Kristoffersen is up there on the podium with him. They nearly got the 1-2 in Mete a fortnight ago, but Timmy, of course, got it by, but I think it was 11 thousandths.
Well, bearing in mind he came into this meeting 14 points down on Ekstrom. He leaves only 7 points away, with his teammate now in the lead by 4 points. That is a great result.
Absolutely smashing it in the team's championship as well, which will be... Oh, there's Pat Duran giving out the trophy. That's brilliant. If you're not familiar with Pat, it's Liam Duran's dad, but Pat, of course, a Rallycross legend. Used to race the RS200, famous car. That's great to see Pat Duran doing that. Brilliant, Pat handing out the winner's trophy.
A bittersweet day for him,
yeah,
but
sure.
I'm sure Rallycross will continue here at Lydden, and we will see what the future holds.
We will indeed. It's been a brilliant, brilliant circuit 50 years ago, kicking off this fantastic sport. Been a big part in the growth of the European Rallycross Championship and, of course, the transition through to the World Rallycross Championship. Thank you, Lydden Hill. Champagne shower for Solberg. It's great to have the podium up there. The reason they've moved it up to there is because so many of the fans can get to it so quickly. Solberg's not very happy with his champagne. Not performing as well as he has. There we are, thank you. That's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. What a wonderful, wonderful atmosphere at Lydden Hill. On board with Ericsson, down at the bottom of the hill, Sebastian Loeb as well. These guys have all been on a mission to try and beat Solberg and Kristoffersson, but Solberg has been unstoppable right through qualifying up to the semi-finals. Hansen tried low, tried backward, tried Ekstrom, even he couldn't deny them. It was his teammate Kristoffersson that we thought might get the job done, but Solberg has held on right until the end of the very last race. My thanks to Tim Harvey for being alongside me this weekend. And of course, all our thanks to Lydden Hill for bringing a wonderful venue for this brilliant championship. We will be back in just 2 weeks' time when we're heading to hell in Norway, where Solberg will be keen to get the win at home. Will he be able to do the double? We'll see you then. Rallycross isn't just a sport, it's part of our DNA. Welcome to the FIA World Rallycross Championship presented by Monster Energy. We're at the classic Lydden Hill circuit in the UK, and this is hallowed Rallycross soil. 50 years ago, TV producer Robert Reed made his vision of mixed surface racing become a reality. On February the 4th, 1967, Vic Elford powered his Porsche 911 to victory here at Lydden and started half a century of the most scintillating, dramatic and above all accessible racing on the planet. Roll on 50 years and the World RX cars and drivers truly blow you away with a combination of breathtaking car performance harnessed by superb driving skill. And what's most remarkable is that the sport and the people in it have the same pure racing soul as they did in 1967. Lydden is the 5th round this season and situated in the southeast of Great Britain. Expect no sentiment on track. This will be the one everybody wants to win in 2017. So as the current crop of Rallycross teams and drivers get ready for the challenge this weekend, let's take a look back at the highly emotive Round 4. Almost the entire field were on a mission to stop Matthias Ekstrom making it 4-4 in Belgium last round. Come the end of a dramatic qualifying, which saw Kevin Hansen walk away from this role, Ekstrom was sat in 8th, while his championship rivals and VW teammates Petter Solberg and Johan Kristoffersson were on pole in each of the semis. Semi 1, and it was Sebastian Loeb's turn to feel the wrath of Belgium's infamous first corner. Brother Kevin and teammate Loeb were out, but the Peugeots were looking quick, and Timmy Hansen promptly booked his place on the front row for the final. Semi 2, and a great start from Ken Block from row 2 saw him punch himself past Solberg and up into second place. Big move, but sadly big damage, as the American eventually retired. Solberg in trouble jokered early to find some clear air and set some blistering lap times. Baccarat out front left his joker until the last lap, but his compatriot and rival had done enough to slide past the young contender on the last corner and take the top spot. Solberg getting one over Baccarat. On to the final, and it was that last corner that provided the headlines again. Solberg leading left the smallest of gaps, and Hansen in second made the most of the chance. The pair swapped paint down the straight, but Hansen held the position. Solberg coming off worst ended up buried in the tyre barriers and collected, you've guessed it, Baccarat on his way out. Race over for Baccarat, but this particular fight will go on and on. Hansen was leading when last lap disaster struck. A front puncture meant he now had to get in and out of the joker lap before Johan Kristoffersen and Solberg could undercut him. Everybody held their breath in Belgium as it went down to the final corner. Hansen pushed the struggling Peugeot hard through the joker, but Kristoffersen slotted past to take his team's maiden victory. Hansen holding on to second by just a few thousandths.
Yeah, that was fantastic. I mean, to come back to the tent and see all the mechanics, there was just stars in the eyes of them. That was really nice. They've been working very hard in a very short time to get this victory. And of course, everyone wants to win. And I'm always trying to say that, yeah, but we want to win, but we want to win after the 12 races, not only the small trophies. So it feels like we are a little bit starting back on scratch again from zero. So, but it's good for us. We have to be consistent all the time.
So how does that first victory of the year for Kristoffersen affect the championship standings? Mattias Ekström still leads, but by a slender 3 points over Kristoffersen. Solberg sits third, and Timmy Hansen fourth will be counting the points lost after that puncture. PSRX Volkswagen Sweden are building a good lead in the Teams Championship, but there are still 8 rounds to go, and that lead could evaporate very quickly indeed. As Rallycross celebrates its 50th year here at Lydden, it's the perfect time for the current drivers to reflect on the heritage of this amazing sport.
I mean, I grew up in a Rallycross paddock with my father, so I've seen the sport evolving over the years. And for me, I would say the sport which I saw as a kid, at the time I thought it was funny to watch, but I had no intention to become a Rallycross driver. So once the World Championship came along and, you know, it became more professional, I thought it was fantastic.
I grew up in the paddock. I grew up watching Martin Shanky, Pat Doran, Will Gollop, Rob Gibson, all the names.
My father, Andreas Eriksson, was racing a lot, and he started to do the European Championship. That's when I met Kevin Hansen. Like Kenneth, his father was racing, and him and my father, they were, you know, fighting each other, and so we were growing up and in the paddock back in the day. So it's a lot of fun.
Today, to be racing Rallycross against some of the world's best drivers from other disciplines is huge. Me and my brother, Kevin, Johan, we're all the new generation trying to make a career here. But having Sebastian Loeb and Mattias Ekström, Peter Solberg here makes this a sport on such a high level.
It's a critical point in the championship season. If you combine that with the centenary celebrations, it's no wonder that a victory here would mean so much.
Rallycross is basically born here. Of course, Lydden Hill is special for me because my son was born when I raced here 2015 on the Sunday. So it's always a special memory for me. It would be nice to put a special result in here as well.
I won my first World Rallycross Championship race here, and this is my 10th race on this track. It's a special track for me and a special track in Rallycross history, and I'm here to win.
To win this race, that's for sure, would be fantastic. I know I'm very fast there. I have a very good statistic over the years, so I will do everything I can, definitely.
As the teams make final preparations, let's take a look at the track. Lydden Hill in the UK, the birthplace of Rallycross, 1,170 metres long, 60% asphalt and 40% dirt. Though with the hot weather expected here this weekend, that dirt may clean up very quickly indeed. We ride on board with Kevin Eriksson as he crosses over the curbs at the start-finish line, down into Chesson's Drift, looking for that strip of tarmac on the inside. He's then pulling gears and heading back down onto the tarmac section before a very, very big braking zone into Devil's Elbow, the left-hander. Critical to get the car right to the apex here, and then on the gas again up a steep hill. This hill affecting you even with 600 horsepower. Late on the brakes again, but assisted by gravity this time, again to the apex.
fine to be happy here. It's not that expensive. No.
So when the victories came, if they got the overtime.
I've been dreaming about this, winning in Lydden Hill here the last year, 50 years of Rallycross here, and that feeling, I can't describe it, you know. It's also quite a long time ago since I've been won a race, and this is fantastic, you know. The car works so well, and with all this audience here, all the people who's come here to look at the race, it's just great.
Sideways.
you